Boop, 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 boop. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is my YouTube page, Mox News, and this is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And I have a fuck ton of videos for you, including smoking pot is bad, okay? But it sounds pretty good to me. So here we are. And you know, I just want to get this title thing out of the way. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. Okay? A couple days ago, on April 20th, I got a call from one of our regular callers, and just, I can't get this out of my head. It's like I keep feeling like I was being chastised because I was happy on April 20th and telling people to celebrate and enjoy life. And he's like, I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget what's going on. Well, who the fuck do you think you're talking to, dude? Okay? We do not forget. We do not forgive. Expect us. And that's who you've been talking to for fucking years. Okay? In case we're confused about this. So, what's happening? Don't touch things. Stop touching things. Okay, so, let's see. Again, I felt like I was being told, you know, everything's fine. No, everything's fine. Yeah, it was like, I was like, hey, you know, 420, happy 420, everybody, woo, you know, have Stoner's New Year, let's have a puff, you know, and then I felt like I was being, like, told, you know, what was I, you know, that I'm not going to forget what's going on. I'm not going to, just because it's Stoner New Year, I'm not going to drop my guard down. I'm going to hunt these suckers out, and I'm going to get them. Well, good. I mean, yeah, that's what we do. That's what I've always done. I do my best to help that process, and I think I do a pretty good job of it. And I don't need to be told, you know, we can't forget this, we can't forget that. You know, who do you think you're talking to, dude? We do not forget. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Okay? Some things are unforgivable. Iraq, Palestine. Certain things we never, ever forget for 1 second. But that doesn't mean we can't enjoy this moment. Because we can enjoy this moment. And I've told you again and again and again and again that there's these rules in this universe. Okay, and one of the rules is change. One of the rules is that things are always changing. Something new is always happening, blah, blah, blah. But one of the other rules is that there's always something right in front of you to enjoy. If you can just have the right frame of mind and take a breath and open your eyes and look for something to enjoy, it's pretty much right there in front of you. And you know, that is a big part of being in this moment. You know, I told you guys that was really, I believe that's the biggest part of the spiritual quest on this planet, is to come into this moment right here, right now. And, you know, I've done a pretty good job of that. So, although I am talking about 2 days ago, I know, but I want to make clear, you know, this is who I am. I am in this moment. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Because some things are unforgivable. Some things are unforgettable. No matter how much we wish we could forget them, it's really not an option. So I don't need to be lectured to about fucking not forgetting what's important. Duh. That should be obvious to everybody. I come out here every day and I do this thing. And I do it because I believe it's the right thing to do. And I've been doing it forever. Every day I come out here and I touch bases with you guys and I say, look what's happening. Look where we're at. You know? And if we could all just come together, we could make happen anything. And then they put this, oh, be afraid. You have to be afraid of your neighbors, right? That was long before the coronavirus. Your neighbors have guns, and there might be something fucked up with them. You don't know because you don't know your neighbors. I tell you to go and meet your neighbors. I tell you, know your neighbors. I tell you, I meet my neighbors the first week they move into the neighborhood. And they always wave at me after that. You know, and now we're at this, oh, you got to be afraid of your neighbors. I mean, that's where we've been for a long time. But now it's, oh, you can't even talk to them. No, you can't even talk to them. It's too dangerous. They're dangerous. They're not paying attention to the quarantine. Do you see them? They're walking around without masks on. What the fuck is wrong with those people? You know, and all I'm saying is, that doesn't work for me. And I'm not going to be, you know, no matter how much I have been self-quarantining for 20 years, no matter how much I have been doing that, I have always been open to everyone. Always doing my best to share with as many people as possible. And always trying to keep a smile on my face. Because life is so much easier that way. But we do not forgive. And we do not forget. You can count on it. That's why I'm still here. So, that being said, in case anyone's wondering about the title, that's where my mindset is at. Craig got a couple of pretty cool videos, man. Craig got a video, very interesting video. We're having trouble corroborating its authenticity. We're having trouble corroborating its authenticity, but it seems like a very important piece of video caught, not so much the video, but the audio caught on a hot mic at a White House briefing in the last few days. And I think that you might find it interesting, and it's what I've been saying for quite some time now. So we're going to play that, even though we can't corroborate that its authenticity, and it doesn't seem to be posted a lot of places. But, you know, the way that the media is controlled now, you know, they're not going to step out of line. That's not what they do. They're not going to call out the bullshit. That's not what they do. And we all know it. And it's so sad. That is their job. Your job, Don Lemon, is to call out the bullshit. And you think because you fucking talk shit about Donald Trump day and night that that's calling out the bullshit. We all know Donald Trump's full of shit. What about the giant corporations that you take money from every fucking day? How full of shit are they? Urgh, despise your bitch ass. But we should play a quick video here so that I can heat up my dab rig and share a nice puff with you to begin the Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. So, in Australia, apparently, in efforts to save the Great Coral Reef Barrier, they are brightening clouds by seeding them with seawater. And I found that very interesting, and I thought that you might find that interesting also. So I'm going to play that, heat up my bong. Anybody else who's ready for a bong hit, you might want to join me.
Startling new statistics show the Arctic is heating up so rapidly, there may be ice-free summers 30 years from now in 2050. The predictions are a study co-authored by McGill University in Montreal. The study says the Arctic is warming at more than twice as fast as the rest of the planet. The new study was published in the Journal of the American Geophysical Union. Australia's Great Barrier Reef continues to suffer from climate change. Now a special technique is being tested to save coral currently under threat. It's called cloud brightening. Researchers told Forbes magazine they sprayed microscopic seawater droplets into the air, and when they evaporated, they left tiny sea salt crystals which brighten existing clouds and in turn deflect solar energy away from reef waters. The hope to do more testing after the coronavirus pandemic. All right, let's check back in with.
That was faster than I thought. I thought I'd have at least another 60 seconds. Huh. So...
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Sorry about that. Ah, that was nice. That was nice. Dabs in space. All right. So, I was saying the Boo Bear's over there snoring his ass off. No, when I put up the freeway driving, I was saying, oh, we don't do the dabs on the freeway. Where's that at? Where's the dabs on the freeway? That one. So I put that up, and I was like, oh, and the mic was off, and I was like, oh no, we don't do the dabs on the freeway. We do dabs in space. But I was saying, but that's only because Craig won't let us light the torch in the car. Otherwise, we'd definitely be doing dabs on the freeway. But, you know, I understand. That Boo Bear is over there like sawing logs. He's like, like a happy Boo Bear should. Let's see. So we have lots more videos, including I have video of bailout, backlash. I guess a bunch of people who don't need the money are getting money. Duh. And that seems like the biggest point of the bailout is that all these rich people who have more than enough money just got a whole fuck ton of money because because we have to. Because we're all gonna die. We might as well give the rich people all the money. What, did you forget we're all gonna die? Like they don't have all the money already. Again, rich people have socialism. Okay? That's the fact. Rich people get absolutely everything handed to them. They already have socialism. The people do not. And I would think that the people would be able to understand that if it's good enough for the rich, it's probably good enough for the working class too. Right? And it's unfortunate that some people in the working class can't get that through their freaking brain. Because the rich people get absolutely everything handed to them by the government and everyone else. You're rich, you walk into a casino, you know what? You don't pay for anything except for what you spend at the tables. What you spend at the tables, that's all you pay for. And that's pretty much the way it goes for them throughout all life. Everything given to them, including so much money that they'll never be able to spend it. But we have to worry about the rich people. We got to make sure they get parts of the bailout, right? In fact, they were the top priority. They got way, way, way more money than anybody else. So we're clear on what's happening in today's world. I gotta pour a cup of tea because I shouldn't be taking bong hits without a cup of tea. Gotta have a cup of tea if you're gonna. You got to have a cup of tea if you're gonna take bong hits, don't you know? So I have to go heat up my tea, and I thought that we could play this video about COVID-19 in the meat processing plant. Wait a minute. Oh, the bailout backlash. There you go. Bailout backlash because the rich are getting all the money. The people who don't need it are getting all the money, and the people who need it desperately are being left behind like always.
Okay, Robin, thanks. Let's go to Washington now, where the Senate has passed a new relief package with nearly $500 billion for small businesses, hospitals, and testing. But there's now a backlash against big restaurant chains and top universities that receive stimulus funds. Rebecca Jarvis joins us with that story. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, George. And the objective was to get that money out quickly. But now that we're learning whose hands it actually made it into, it turns out some of those companies that were best connected with the biggest banking relationships were the ones who actually received the funds.
Prestigious Harvard University, among the many approved for stimulus funds, granted $8.6 million with the requirement that half the money be set aside for students. The money provided to universities and other Ivy League schools under the $14 billion CARES Act has sparked backlash from critics, citing the Ivy League school's $40 billion endowment.
Harvard's going to pay back the money, and they shouldn't be taking it. They have one of the largest endowments anywhere in the country, maybe in the world, I guess, and they're going to pay back that money.
But this morning, Harvard says it will be keeping the money, clarifying that 100% of the funds is for financial assistance for students to meet their urgent needs in the face of this pandemic. This as some of the nation's largest restaurant chains like Ruth's Chris and Potbelly Sandwiches are facing backlash, expected to receive millions from the Payroll Protection Program, which is meant to help small businesses keep their employees. Shake Shack returning $10 million it received after public outcry. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is now calling on those other large companies to follow suit or face the consequences.
We want to make sure this money is available to small businesses that need it, people who have invested their entire life savings.
And the new Senate-approved funds, that $484 billion that is now set to go to the House, includes $60 billion specifically set aside for small businesses with smaller banking, community banking relationships, not just those big banks. And Michael, the idea is that will be a way to make sure that a lot of those mom and pop restaurants out there, which are suffering so greatly right now, get the money.
Yeah, we
Michael?
hope. Thank you, Rebecca. We hope the money goes to the right businesses. Thank you so much for that.
Like to see you heat up a cup of tea that fast. I'm on it. Although it's not a fresh cup of tea, I just heated up a little bit of water for the half a cup of tea I already had. And I feel much better now. Oh, right. Background. Show 200, everybody. So, let's see. I have more videos. This is a call-in show. In case you guys can't see the telephone number, it's 805-669-6397. It's 805-669-6397. And I'm happy to talk with you guys about whatever you like. Again, we don't have to talk about the COVID-19. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about that if you want. Mostly, I'm gathering the clips that I can find. It's not all COVID-19 all the time. There seems to be a little bit of a break in some of it now, but it's still, everything is very kind of COVID-19 related. Except for the cloud brightening thing, right? That wasn't COVID-19 related. I have a video about a pastor who defied orders not to have church services and then was arrested, and he just got out of jail, and there was people cheering for him getting out of jail, which I found interesting. Again, there's a meat processing plant somehow the meat processing plants apparently are having a higher rate of outbreak, it seems, even more so than the cruise ships, it seems, which is pretty hard to believe, kind of, not really, but weird. I mean, those guys on the cruise ships, they're like trapped on the cruise ships for like a month, some of them almost, trying to avoid it after the ship was diagnosed as a plague ship, Let's see. Did I play the smoking pot one yet? No, I didn't play that yet, huh? Smoking pot is bad. Oh, well, it's connected to, let's see, smoking pot is bad. Smoking pot is bad because it heightens your risk of COVID-19, apparently. So remember, kids, smoking pot is bad, okay? Don't do drugs. Let's see. Well, at least don't smoke them. Okay, so contact tracking. Contact tracking is what this seems to be about to me. Although it also seems to be about the fact, if you understand the the story of V for Vendetta, the movie, which is exactly what this pandemic seems to be playing out as. The story is about a plague that's released, a virus that's released on the people, and a lot of people die, a lot of people get sick, but it's released by the government, and it's released for the reason that they have the cure already. So they know that if they release it, they can make fuck tons of money by, wherever, government money, whatever it is, it's going to come to them from everywhere. So they release the virus, they kill a bunch of people, and then, and then V comes along and he fucking starts blowing shit up, and, he's the bad guy. But I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Okay, so I think I was talking about, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. I was talking about V for Vendetta, and this is what it's about. Oh, right, and that they have the vaccine, okay? This is what it is that I understand. Or this video that Craig found is a video of the daily press briefings that Trump is giving. But this is I believe before one of the briefings, and it's the members of the press talking about what's happening. And again, we can't corroborate the video, but it seems important and interesting what's being said, and it comes back to this thing about V for Vendetta, where the government released this virus on the public because they already had the cure. And I thought the video was very interesting, and that it should be shared, even though we cannot corroborate the video. Why are you doing that? It echoes. I don't know. I don't know where is that video at, Craig? Number 3? Oh.
What's up, Barry?
All right, man.
What do you know, babe?
You can take out the mask, though.
Okay,
the case fatality rate's at
here
0.1
is
to
very
0.3,
interesting, and I
Is
thought
it
I
really?
should share it with you just in
That's-
case.
That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health have come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3? There's a study to get out there?
Yeah, just give it to them. So it suggests that the case fatality rate is 10.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
You know, babe.
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health have come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes
You know, babe.
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health have come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that,
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway. The hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway. The hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
All right, so as I've said again and again and again, this is exactly the clip. I mean, the storyline of V for Vendetta, right? Where, you know, they released this virus on the public, and they already have the vaccine. They're protected. And I've been telling Craig for months, well, no, at least a month, that they already have the cure or the vaccine or whatever. I can see it in their faces that they're protected. They're not afraid of getting this. They already have it. They already have the vaccine, so, or cure or whatever. And here you hear in the White House briefing room, right? You hear the journalist on a hot mic, apparently. Again, I can't corroborate it, but you hear it on a hot mic. The journalist talking about they've already been vaccinated. They've all already been vaccinated. That's why they're all sitting in this contained room, you know, for hours, right? They're telling us 6 feet apart, 15 for no longer than 15 minutes. Anything longer than 15 minutes is not social distancing. They're sitting in this contained room 4 hours, just, you know, a few feet apart from each other, and nobody's wearing masks. And apparently they've all been vaccinated, so they don't have to worry about it. And that would make sense. That would be the only reason why the president of these United States, regardless of who that person is, the most powerful person in the world, man or woman, would be in the same room, you know, in the same contained area for hours and hours and hours, unless they knew, well, not hours and hours and hours, but hours, unless they knew, you know, that it was, they got it covered. So I thought, even though we can't corroborate the source and we can't corroborate the authenticity of the video, it just seems like this is kind of what I've been telling you guys all along, is that, again, what I've been telling you is that this is the exact plot of V for Vendetta, you know, and that's how, you know, it is in V for Vendetta too. I mean, they're already protected. They know they're good. They don't have to worry. So, again, we do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. Because that's what I have been saying for a long, long time. You know, if we could just move beyond these divisions that they have us all separated with, even better now, we could do anything. So they have to keep us separated, because otherwise we could actually make a world that's better for the working class person, and they do not want that. They want to trickle down on you. You know what I'm saying. And they think that that's a beautiful thing, trickling down on the little people. I've seen them building statues to themselves, giving the little people a penny. Here you go. Here you go. Here's a penny for you. I've seen them build statues to themselves doing that exact thing. And that's the world we live in. And people somehow, I don't know, you know, it's like everybody aspires to be that. I'm going to be that one of these days. When I'm rich. When I'm rich, this is how it's going to go. I had to kill that dream a long time ago. But, you know, if I was king, women would be put on a pedestal just high enough to look up their skirts. You know what I'm saying? That's a Steve Martin joke. Don't blame me. Let's see. Oh, we already played that video. Check it off. So we'll play the smoking pot is bad video. No. I'm going to play the meat processing video because no one's calling. I don't want to sit here and ramble on forever, even though I can. I've told you over and over, it's not about me. I know you guys are interested, and I seem like an interesting guy, I guess. But it's not about me. It's about all of us coming together. And the best way we can do that in this moment now is for you to call and say, hey, what's up, man?
Well, in Iowa, a third of the state's newest cases are linked to a meat processing plants. Half of those cases in one county are linked to the Tyson plant in Waterloo. Still, the governor says she's not willing to shut it down yet. So what's the reasoning, the going thought there? Diane Gallagher with a little bit more on the governor's reasoning and then how the people in the community feel. Hi.
Yeah, and Robin, I'm actually just getting information right now. I'm texting with the sheriff of Black Hawk County in Iowa, where Waterloo and this plant are located. He also serves as the emergency management chairman, so he heads up the coronavirus response in that county. He's telling me that they were just informed by Tyson Foods that they are going to be suspending operations at the Waterloo Tyson Foods plants indefinitely as a response to the coronavirus outbreak and some of the public pressure they've been receiving from those officials. He tells me it's going to begin this afternoon and that people who work there are still going to be able to go to the plant to get tested if they need to kind of continue that service. And again, this is coming in right now as I speak. To kind of give you some background on this, Robin, for more than a week now, I've been speaking with officials in Waterloo, watching this kind of escalate as they'd been trying to get Tyson to shut the plant down as the number of cases began growing in their community. According to the health department, as of yesterday, 182 of the 374 cases in that county are directly linked to that plant. And so they wanted Tyson to shut the plant down, much as they had other plants in Iowa and across the country for this deep cleaning process to go ahead and allow maybe the workers to not be so close together, even with some of the mitigation efforts that Tyson may have put in place. They still are in a communal setting in these plants. Tyson did say that up until right this morning we got this, they had been working by adding different things into the plant, adding dividers, working on schedules and things like that, and also relaxing the absentee policy to try and mitigate the spread there. The governor had supported Tyson, saying in part that she felt they were working hard to do that, but also because to keep the production going, also assisted the farmers in the area. But Robin, look, we've talked about this before. The people who work in these plants across the entire country, not just this one in Waterloo, have said, look, we know we're essential, but we're not sacrificial, that our health matters too. And there was growing concern there. Again, this coming down just now from the emergency management chairman, that it looks like Tyson is going to be suspending those operations at that plant.
And who is it clear who made that decision? Did the emergency management say you got to do that?
It would, well, they did, but here's the thing, Robin. The local officials in Black Hawk County, they didn't have the power to force Tyson to shut down. The health board passed this proclamation yesterday, begging them essentially to do it, and if they wouldn't, would the governor do it? According to the emergency management chairman, the sheriff Tony Thompson, Tyson decided to voluntarily shut down this morning. So it was not the governor who forced them to, at least from what I'm hearing right now. He said voluntarily Tyson decided to do this. They've been asking the company to do that for a week at this point, Robin. So it looks like at least now they're going to begin starting.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much. That breaking news, and got it right as it was texted to her. Diane Gallagher, good job, and thank you.
Where'd my Boo Bear go? Where'd my Boo Bear go? Hello, caller.
Hello, Mike. Hi. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Who is this?
My name is Jason.
Hey, Jason. How are you? Thanks for calling.
I'm very well, thanks. No problem. I just wanted to say, you raised a good point with that room and them all congested in there. And I kind of thought about that myself in the back of my head. I've been thinking that too. And not to mention the fact that that the president has been in contact with other officials and higher ranking people that have known to have the virus themselves. He does put himself at quite a risk.
Right.
Being out there. Actually, I think all of them do, you know.
Yeah, it seems like
also
they're
thinking-
all. It seems like they're not social distancing at all, as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, it seems, I guess that way. I mean, I'm looking at it too, but then I also try to think maybe the room is like vacuumed in the air ducts, so like there's a big vacuum or something, you know.
I'm sure you got good air, no doubt about that.
Filtered and stuff. That's what I was thinking. Also, but one thing that podium, I feel like that's a real common area where the president goes, you know. And,
Yeah, it used to be people would put their little recording devices up there and shit.
Yeah, it's like when they're prepping for him before he comes in. There's a lot of action around that podium. It just seems like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways it could spread, I guess. I mean, he's very vulnerable, as so is everybody else in there.
It just seems, you know, I mean, if it's as dangerous as they're telling us that it is, that they're, in my opinion, that the most important person in the world, more or less, probably shouldn't be around anybody at all. You know, I mean, it's just, you can go ahead and take questions by video or whatever else. It's pretty easy to do.
Though.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's,
good.
Yeah. Go
Good
ahead.
point, though, because I mean, he's around all those journalists and everything, and they have their own lives too, and they go off and meet up with other people, and they all come back to this room again.
Right, and they keep telling us the reason that we have to stay away from everyone is because the people might not be showing any signs at all. No temperature, no nothing. You know, and they could and they could give it to you.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I believe so too. But I just want to say I put onto this channel maybe a couple nights. I think it was 420.
Right on.
When I first saw this. Yeah, and I realized, I've been subscribed to it, but I don't remember when I subscribed to it. It must have been a long time ago, but on 420 I recognized it again. I was like, this is kind of funny. I was like, I thought it was really relaxing. You had a good spin on 420. You didn't want to talk about any of the virus crap, and I didn't blame you, you know?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. It's just so overwhelming in the dialogue now. That you kind of have to, even on 420, we wound up talking about it a little bit. But I do want to talk about it in the fact that, again, the media, all they do forever, if you watch, they spread fear. You know, for years, people have been asking me, you know, how come you don't have weather stories? How come you don't have weather stories? How come you don't have weather stories, right? And it's because the only reason the mainstream media shows the weather is to use it as fear, to like, you have to be afraid of Mother Nature. You know, and I just the last thing I want you to be afraid of is Mother Nature, you know. We'd be lost without that.
Right. Well, that's a good point. You know, I mean, there is a lot of fear involved. I see it. I mean, you could look at it that way too. It's a fearful thing.
It's not healthy, and it makes it kind of like lowers your IQ, and they want you afraid because it makes you do these basic reactions, which is like turn to strong leaders who say bold things like we have to fight him over there so that we don't have to fight him over here. You know, the more afraid you are, the better that's going to sound to you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like this fear coming from every angle. Like there's this virus, then you hear about some possible wars could be ignited somehow over economies and stuff, and then
and don't forget the weather.
The weather, but also, and then they threw 2 comets into the mix. 2 comets are screaming towards the Earth, I guess.
Oh, right on. I love comets.
Yeah. Yeah, those are cool. But they're coming this way. But I don't think they're gonna hit us or anything like that. That's what I heard. But they are coming this way, so that's kind of fearful too, as well, as these things screaming towards the Earth.
Yeah, well, it's always kind of, see, that's the thing. It's always been that way, and but now it's like we have to be afraid of it all of it. You can't not be afraid. Why are you not afraid? You know, I mean, it's
I know that's all it is when you turn on the news. It's just get, promoting fear.
And mostly they want us afraid of each other. So they love this fucking virus shit, and they're gonna do it every moment of every fucking day. And I swear, man, I just want to fucking grow pretty flowers and just go fuck the news. I'm growing flowers, you guys. That's it. It's gonna be doggies, puppies, and flowers on Mox News from now on.
I know. This is what I like. That's a good thing, and promote that, and just stick to that.
Yeah.
Fight fire with fire. I don't know how we say it, but
yeah, well, that's what we're doing, and we do it by giving a voice to the people. You know, so much on YouTube is censored now. You know, in the comments, they just don't let people say anything. So, I mean, like I'm telling you, 50% of the comments on Mox News are censored regularly, and I don't have anything to do with it. I have zero control over it.
Wow. Well, that's insane.
Well, that's why we do the call-in show, because then we can sidestep the censors and people can say whatever the fuck they want.
Right. Well, I think that it was good talking with you, man. I enjoy watching your show. I'm going to continue doing that. But I just want to mention, you brought up a really great point, and you got some cool videos up. I like them.
Right on. Well, thanks a bunch, man. I'm just trying to do the right thing by everybody, not by the Republicans, not by the Democrats, by everybody.
Yeah, it's a more friendly group anyway.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, there's too much fighting going on if you're on one of those sides. Either one of those sides, there's a lot of fighting back and forth.
It does not benefit you in any way to identify like that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You gotta build your little bubble.
Well, or we gotta make a big giant bubble and see how many people we can actually fit into it.
Who could fit into it? Yeah, right. And think this way, come this way,
Yeah, let's fucking do it, man. Let's fucking take this place over. Ours now, bitches.
I think it's possible. The way things have been going.
Every time this bullshit police state government does their little overreaches, regardless of how the people respond, I know inside that there is this top of the food chain, you don't tell me what to do kind of person who questions things somewhere inside of them, and it's building and nobody likes the government as far as I can tell, and it's with good reason. They don't represent any of us, and yet they claim that that's the kind of government it is, and then give us endless. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the government could be good if there was more transparency. I believe if there was a lot more transparency and the people had more leverage, if we had more leverage as a people in a whole, and and we demanded transparency, then it wouldn't be so bad because we would have more control over things that way. I believe, our own everything, our own destiny and our own will.
I think that that's what it should be about, is the freedom. This is what bothers me about this fucking bullshit government, okay? I'd like to have hope for it, but it should be a government of the people, for the people, meaning it should be solely about protecting their rights, protecting their freedom, as you said, their freedom. And it's the exact opposite of that. All it does is etch away at our freedom every single day and remind you not to color outside the lines, or you will fucking pay a price.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta conform to it. Otherwise, you're breaking the law. And you're right. They'll just throw you in a penthouse somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we just have to come together so that we can reprioritize, because these people in charge, it doesn't matter if it's the Democrats or it's the Republicans. They have no interest in anything except for maintaining the status quo for as long as possible.
And keeping the working bees going too, right? I mean, pretty much. And their revenue keeps going. They get big tax dollars off whatever commodities out there and energy and stuff. And as long as that keeps rolling, they keep getting their money coming in, they're okay, I feel like it's been, with this virus thing, when they're making decisions, I feel like they're choosing money over people's health in a way. But I just hope that when the states that do open up, the ones that are still closed, the states that are still going to be closed, I hope that they can, keep their own people inside the state and inside their own borders, and not travel abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they'll just spread it more. I mean, I know I'm going back to this fear thing.
Yeah, no. Look, and this is the reason why a test where they say everybody nationwide has to be tested for the coronavirus, because this is what you're going to hear about again and again. You're going to hear about contact tracking, which means they want to know every single person that you come in contact with, which means you have to have an app on your phone and they have to have an app on their phone. And if you don't have that app and it doesn't have a green light on it, you are not going into the grocery store. You're not allowed in, okay? So everybody's going to have that app, contact tracking. You're going to hear a lot about that, but this. Are
they actually going to do that? I thought there was a lot of talks with Google and stuff and those big tech companies, but are they actually going to do something? Or?
That's what I see. This is this is going to become mandatory. At least it's the police state, the way I view the police state, in which they try and take all the freedom that they can from us and never let a crisis go to waste. This is what I see coming our way. And when they say we have to have nationwide testing, again, remember, this isn't going to work. Nationwide testing is not going to work unless no one's allowed to travel in or out of the country. Because then we have to have worldwide, testing. Because again, you can not show symptoms, or what are they going to do? They're going to quarantine anybody who enters or leaves the country, or enters the country for 3 weeks. When you enter the country, you have to go into quarantine for 21 days. Otherwise, you can't. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So again, the nationwide testing, which you're going to hear, these are the two big things: the tracking and the testing. Those are the big things. So when you hear it, the test nation. This mandatory testing is not going to work. And honestly, the reason I believe they want to test everyone is to figure out, how effective their weapon was, and to figure out what people it didn't work on and why it didn't work on them, and all that kind of shit. It's just fucking research. It's not about, to see if you have it or not. It's not about that.
Right, it's the research of it all. Yeah, it's gathering the numbers.
Yeah.
And then looking at it overall.
And Craig says that they want to build, like with the nasal testing, that they want to build DNA database, which is obvious too. I mean, you know, of course.
Wow. Wow. So they'll be able to take it, they're going to take your DNA and save it?
Well, yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't know. So it kind of feels like your freedoms are being taken away a little bit there.
Yeah,
right.
you think?
I mean...
Welcome to America. Shut up.
This hasn't happened yet, but he did say it was in discussion, and he was talking, and he'd heard some things from tech companies, but then he leaned away from it and said, you know, he doesn't really want to take away anybody's civil liberties and rights and things like that. He doesn't want to do that. You know?
Nobody wants to take away your civil liberties. Nobody wants to do that, even though Congress does it every single day of every single week of every single fucking year that they're not on vacation. No, but nobody wants to do that. We have to do it. We just have no other choice right now. You understand, right? It's for everyone.
You know, he says little things like Merry Christmas. He comes back with Merry Christmas. At least he brought that back, you know?
Hey, I end every single show with Merry Christmas, all right? So you know.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
Craig's like, we got to fix that video because it says Merry Christmas on it. I'm like, fuck no. It says Merry Christmas for a reason. You're not allowed to say Merry Christmas anymore, so we say it at the end of every show.
There's a lot to think about, I guess. You know, I mean, if you really want to sit down and think about it. But then, man, you're right. Just it's best not to think about it too sometimes.
Well, you don't want to become obsessed. See, myself, I only go so far down the rabbit hole because once you go all the way down the rabbit hole, it's hard to find your way back out. And I'm not getting stuck in that shit.
Yeah, it just. For some people, though, they'll probably drive themselves crazy, and it's not healthy either. You know, it's I suggest for a lot of people to get out there, and anything they got a trail, a bike trail, or walking down the street or something, whatever they could do, and just do it. You know,
I think walking is like See, one of the big things that's wrong with humans is that they don't walk. And because it's just like the most basic thing that we can do. And if everybody, walked for, 20 or 30 minutes or an hour a day, especially in their own neighborhood, oh my God, everybody would know everybody. And then if something was, wrong, everybody would rush to their help and stuff, but nobody walks. They're all in their own little shiny metal box, and they barely even acknowledge the other people's presence. And if they can get away with not acknowledging their presence, they're actually much more comfortable with that. Go ahead.
True. Good point. Wow. Well, yeah. Let me get back to doing what I was doing anyway.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna talk to you again. It was good talking with you, man.
Right on. It was good to hear from you. I'm glad you called.
I think you brought up a lot of good points. And,
I think I bring up too many good points, and you can't even keep track of them.
Well, keep a log of them, but yeah, should definitely keep track of them.
Right on. Well, whatever works for you, take whatever you can take away from it. I'm just trying to state the obvious, at least to me. It's so obvious. I'm not like the smartest guy in the world, but all this shit is just clear as day to me. And and that's why I want to talk with the people, because I think that the people have so much more. There's so many smart people out there, and it's really good just to be able to touch bases with you. And so many people have been watching the Mox News for so long. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, man. Yeah. How long have you been on?
Well, the Mox News has been about 10 years or so, but we've been doing YouTube for as long as there's been a YouTube, for more than 15 years.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. That's pretty good, man.
Over 60,000 videos.
Yeah. Wow, 60,000?
Over 60,000 videos.
No kidding. That's amazing. Well, I'm gonna 420.
Nice. Enjoy, my brother. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. I'm gonna keep watching it too. I'll talk
All right.
to you later, man.
Stay cool. See ya.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
And this is why I love the call in, being able to touch bases with people, because, you know, again, it's this good thing. It's not like, you know, there's not animosity. There's, you know, so few of us see eye to eye on so many things. I bet he wanted to say stuff, but, you know, probably thought I'm not the right person to say it to, but it's fine. You can say whatever you want. It's like with Dwayne, you know, you know, me and Dwayne don't see eye to eye, but Dwayne loves to call in and call me his brother and you know, tell me how much he appreciates me. Right, Dwayne? So, and there's Michelle, and she's my sister, and I know she appreciates me so much, and I really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, because, again, it's just meaningless without you. Without you, it's just me here talking and ranting like a crazy person, acting like people are listening to him. You know, and again, I'm not trying to rant, and I'm not trying to act like people are listening to me. I'm really trying to have a dialogue with all of you. That's why I always have the phone number up at the bottom of the screen, because it's not about me and what I want to say. If it was, what would be the point of having you involved? I don't need you. I do not need you to be able to say what it is I want to say. And that's why I think a lot of people who do these live shows and do, you know, on-camera videos, they don't take phone callers. They're not really, I mean, they interact with the chat room a little bit, but that can be very, very selective, right? You know, it's not like they're in there getting in arguments or debating, and it's not like you can hear what the other person is saying if they are debating. And even if you could hear what they're saying, the other person has a handicap because they have to type everything they want to say, and it's difficult for you to say all the things you want to say if you got to type it all out in the chat room. Michelle brings that up over and over again in her phone calls. Don't you, honey? Okay, did I mention that tonight, and only tonight, we have a fucking tiger.
And the zoo scare caught on camera in Dublin. 7-year-old Sean was posing for a picture in front of an animal enclosure when a full-size Siberian tiger lunges at the glass. The family says Sean was startled, but they are just grateful for the glass safety window. All right, when we come...
Right? Are you getting tired of it? Too bad. Like I give a fuck. Oh, that looks pretty good. That does not seem digitized at all. The other stuff, when we do the colors, it all digitizes out, doesn't it? That looks pretty good. That's my friend, again, my friend Sam does the drone videos for us, and this is another one of his videos building this statue for a museum. I think it was in Nebraska, something like that. It's beef country, might have been Texas, I don't know. But he's you know, he's a man of many skills, mad ninja skills, dude. So that one doesn't digitize. What's it look like over here? Does this look better? Let's see, because that one always digitizes. Every time I played this one, it digitizes. Let's see if it digitizes over here. Because we went to a still background. Oh, it's still digitizing a little bit there. We went to a still background. That one, this one's Craig's. Let's see, that one always really digitizes. We went to a still background for the videos because I felt like there was too much activity. See, there's all digitized. But I felt like there was too much activity with having a moving background for the videos. The video clips, because it looked like they were digitizing to me, and I think they look much better now. Let me see this one. This is the one I love, but it's been digitizing a lot too. Oh, but the water's very difficult thing. The water is always moving. Every little fucking pixel of it is moving. So it's the water's tough not to digitize. But I want to see the dogs. My beautiful babies. There's my beautiful babies. Hi, my beautiful babies. How's my beautiful baby? And I love that video. What a pretty girl. Look at that pretty girl. She's such a pretty girl. Ha. Get the ball. She left the ball out there. Get the ball. She left the ball. Go get the ball. And he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. He goes and gets the ball. Because at 12 years old, he can still see stuff. Isn't that cool? I love that boy so much. There he is. He's back down by the river. Laying down by the river, boo. You laying down by the river, boo? Let's see. What do we got here? It looks like we should go ahead and play another video. Oh, I was talking about the pastor who went ahead and broke the law and did a church sermon and got arrested. He was just released from jail to applaud. There was people waiting outside to applaud his release.
Okay, that crowd is cheering for a Louisiana pastor the moment that he got out of jail there. And in the video, it also shows the moment, this new video, I should say, shows the moment that Baton Rouge police said that he nearly hit a protester with a church bus. This is what landed him behind bars for a little bit. Now, the pastor claims that he just wanted to confront the man outside the jail. Tony Spell, the pastor, held what felt like a sermon saying that he's going to keep holding services despite the state orders against large gatherings.
My unalienable rights are given to me by God, and those rights are my rights to assemble and have church. I cannot give up those rights. God forbids me to give up those rights. I will not give up my right to have church. I will not give up my rights to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
He's out on bond. Last week, he urged the parishioners to donate their stimulus checks to the church if they could. Big reaction there. In person. If you're
and again, you know, this is not supposed to happen in America. And I think it's really good that he got arrested, and that it will probably become a big giant Supreme Court case. SCOTUS, which would be appropriate, it seems like, unless of course the lower courts just throw it out. Which would also be appropriate, it seems like, pretty obviously. Not gonna go anywhere, baby. Did I play the smoking pot one? I don't think so. I have a smoking pot one. Smoking pot is bad. Smoking pot is bad, okay?
Our KIRO 7 viewers are seeing reports about blood types and who gets COVID-19, plus questions about smoking. KIRO 7's Matthew Smith warns some information we're hearing just doesn't add up. This afternoon, he's helping us separate facts from fiction.
Now, there's all types of talk about shortages at grocery stores when it comes to meat. There's headlines about meat packaging plants shutting down. But one viewer has a bigger concern, though. Is the stuff on her grocery store shelves safe? So the statement, I should avoid meat from food processing plants where workers have tested positive for COVID-19. According to the FDA, that's fiction. And here's the thing. We've witnessed a number of meat processing plants shut down, some in our state. The concern is really about the workers inside. The FDA says this is about the food itself. Quote, currently there is no evidence of food or food packaging being associated with transmission of COVID-19. Next, we're talking blood type. A lot of online chatter about a research paper out of China. For the past few weeks, the study created an echo chamber of sorts online. So one viewer writes, people with blood type O are immune to coronavirus. That is also fiction. Here's where we actually get into the weeds. A lot of folks are looking for answers and they're finding misinformation. Now, the researchers actually stated people with blood type O were less likely to become hospitalized. But two things to note here. One, the study wasn't peer-reviewed. Two, the study was super small when it comes to scope. Look, I get it. We all want answers, but rest assured, we'd be getting you the big breakthrough information if these types of stories were confirmed and they were coming out. Now, COVID-19 is new, and if you dig too deep in the archives of the internet, you will get lost in the weeds and find that misinformation. Finally, smoking and COVID-19. A viewer writes, fact or fiction, smoking cigarettes or pot can put you more at risk of COVID-19. The CDC says that's fact. There's a lot of research coming out on this, but the CDC says smokers are at a higher risk for severe illness. In other words, they're more likely to get the worst symptoms from COVID-19. Now, that doesn't mean always, but this is statistically speaking. The American Lung Association and the CDC are putting out those warnings for that reason. So, thank you for your questions and the comments that you're not so sure about. My email, Facebook, Twitter, they're always open to you, our viewers. We're trying to help you separate fact from fiction. Matthew Smith, KIRO 7 News.
And just ahead on the...
Oh, dang. I was going to heat the bong up. They said smoking pot is bad and curve. I was going to heat the bong up. Ooh, that's pretty. But I didn't have time. My Boo Bear's gone. What is happening here? Everything's just falling apart, man. Get it together, dude. Where are we at? There, boom. That is sunset a couple nights ago. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about you, Chris?
I'm doing all right. The rain felt great today. I think we haven't had rain in 16 or 17 days, so it was a nice break. Kind of cleaned up the air. I like that.
You know, today was the first day that I didn't take a Sudafed before I went outside. For months, for like 2 months or something.
It really does clean up the air and make it just cleaner air. It's nice. It's one of the reasons I like living around Puget Sound is the air is always very clean. I am O negative. I don't know if that is a good thing or not, but it means I'm a universal donor.
Wow,
as far as the blood things go. So anybody can take my blood, which means they always want my blood at the blood center.
Well, if you have the antibodies, then they're going to really want your blood.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this. I'm not as averse to the test to see if you have had COVID-19 as others are. And I read about this study they did in Sweden, I guess it was in the last week, and they tested 1 million people in Sweden to see. And 10% of or 11% of the people tested had antibodies for COVID-19 in their blood, and they said it could have even been higher, that they were using they weren't using the best test that they had. They could have used a more accurate test, and it might have even been more people than 11%. So it's already out there, and I would like to know. I have
a clip here tonight where they're talking about Sweden, and they're saying apparently like over 600,000 people in Sweden now have antibodies in their blood and apparently are COVID-19 resistant. All those people.
And the article that I read said that because they're actually doing a test with so many random people, like a random survey test, it's a more accurate test to see how many people may have had the virus or not. But what the article I read implied is that since so many more people have already had COVID-19, it means that the mortality rate drops down a lot. Like it drops down significantly lower than what they imagined it was. But I would like to know so that, and I don't know how they do it. I mean, I don't want a digital tattoo. I don't want a microchip tattoo. I mean, maybe they can just like put like a watermark on a little piece of paper they give you or something. I don't know, but it seems to me that if you've already had the virus, you should be able to get a pass of some sort. I mean, you have a photo ID, right? Most people have a photo ID in the United States. Therefore, if they can match the name with the number, they shouldn't have to put a tattoo on you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Just to say that you've already had the virus, because if you've already had the virus, you're not going to pose a threat to anyone else.
It's just an app. You have to have an app.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. They're using an app. So what exactly does the app indicate? That you've been sick? That you've taken a test? I mean, what does the app say exactly? How does it work? The app
indicates whether or not you have come in contact with someone who is currently COVID-19 positive,
right?
Or if you're come in contact with people that are, I don't know. I mean, but it's mostly the idea behind the app is that it tracks every single person that you come in contact with and every single person that they come in contact with. And by doing that, they're able to tell 99% who's contacting,
who's interacting with who.
Yeah, who's interacting with people that are sick and who is not.
I understand that, but if I have an immunity, or if another person has an immunity to the virus because I've already had it, and I have antibodies in my system as another person might, then that app makes absolutely no sense to me. It doesn't apply to me. Right?
Well, unless that's what is part of the app, built-in part of the app, that you already have the antibodies, so you are not contagious. Boom, you have the green light.
Oh, I see. So you would get the green light once you demonstrated that you already had the code. All right. Well, I don't know. What is the alternative here? Locking people up for a year? I mean, that seems to be what the alternative is right now.
No.
Right? I mean, I'm just speculating here. Like, I don't like the surveillance either.
Not locking people up, letting people go and live their life. Look, man, life is fucking dangerous, okay? If you can't handle the heat, life is fucking dangerous. Those who would trade their freedom for security will receive, and the truth is they will get neither. You're not going to, the second you give away that freedom, you're going to have to fight to get it back, and you've already given it away, and it's just so fucking, now it's just built into everything and blah, blah, blah.
It's true. Yeah, well, look, I was just going to note that, like, anyone who's carrying a smartphone around with them is already being surveilled.
Of course.
And
you don't have to carry a smartphone to be being surveilled either.
Well, certainly you can be surveilled just by being in public, and you can be photographed and monitored.
And there's cameras everywhere in public. There's cameras everywhere in public, and I believe that if you have certain camera systems that use certain software and you're connected to the internet, that is part of a giant web that the government uses to track everyone they possibly can through facial recognition.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
And I don't dispute that. So I'm just saying that, like, they're just telling us the technology. They're just exposing the technology to us that we're already aware of.
They want you to sign off on it. They want you to say, oh, I accept this wholeheartedly. And then what they're going to do is they're going to pass laws that say that if you're going in contact with hookers, we can arrest you for going in contact. If you're going to known drug dealers, we can arrest you.
Right. If you're going to some political meeting to meet and talk with people, we'll know who you're talking to.
You go on the list.
And right. If you commit a crime, you're on the list. I get it, and that is an erosion of your right to travel. Your right to your own papers, your right to privacy, those basic fundamental rights. And they should be tested in courts, but the courts have been stacked. So the odds of you having a judge actually listen to an argument from a civil libertarian are kind of nil these days.
Yeah, or you could pound your fucking stupid cell phone with a fucking hammer and say, I'm out.
I didn't have one until 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I was working with another person who required that I have the phone for work.
Yeah, it's
prior
for
to
so
that,
many
I
people
stayed out
now.
of it. And I also don't carry the damn thing around with me during the day, Mike. I leave it on a table, or I'll leave it in the car if I'm a guest at someone's home. I don't have it on my pocket all the time. I don't even like it, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, to interact in the economy, it's kind of an important tool. Even though it has those surveillance qualities to it, the constant surveillance, which you're right. There were a couple things I wanted to mention tonight about herb and drugs and about crime. First of all, you've often pointed out how making drugs illegal causes people to commit crime. And there was a good story this morning in the Seattle Times, and the title of the story, April 22nd, is Seattle Police Prolific Burglars Committed Nearly 200 Break-ins to Buy Drugs. That's quite a few for two people, if you think about it. Patrick Andrea, 20, and his girlfriend Sabrina Mitchell, 21, were arrested in Capitol Hill neighborhood and have since been charged with 2 counts of residential burglary. Court records show DeAndrea was also charged with theft of a motor vehicle. Mitchell was charged with possession of a stolen vehicle, according to the cops. And then this is a lesson to anybody who ever gets arrested, right? You probably shouldn't talk to the police until you consult with your lawyer. You should never talk with the cops before you consult with your lawyer.
If a cop starts asking you questions like they're interrogating you, number one, if they ask if you have drugs on you, you tell them no. If they ask if you have weapons on you, unless you have a fucking needle in your pocket, then you have to say that you have drugs on you. But if you don't have a needle in your pocket, you say no.
If you're a heroin addict who is like burglarizing the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and you get pulled over by a cop, you probably should say, "I'd like to talk to my lawyer before I speak with the detective."
You say, right? Here's what you say. You say, my lawyer advises me not to talk to anyone without her present, and she gets really pissed if I don't listen to what she says.
Well, these kids were like 20 and 21. Sounds like boyfriend girlfriend combo.
Yeah.
Partners in like right out of
I've always said,
born killers.
I've said 1,000 times, beware the generation raised on Grand Theft Auto.
Yes. So instead of asking for a lawyer, this is what the newspaper said. Following their arrest, DeAndrea and Mitchell were interviewed separately by detectives. Police say they both confessed to the 2 April burglaries. Each of them drove around with officers, pointing out other locations where they had committed burglaries, often hitting the same building multiple times. Mitchell pointed out 11 additional locations where she and Andrea committed a combined 24 burglaries. DeAndrea showed them 29 new locations where 142 burglaries were committed, say the charging papers. Police say both suspects admitted they support their drug habit through burglaries and usually use a crowbar or a screwdriver to gain entry to an apartment complex. Although DeAndrea also researched call boxes and how to deactivate them, according to the charges.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought that was hilarious in a way, but it kind of validated that point that you said about people who have habits, bad drugs. I had a friend who was a heroin addict, and he would support his addiction by going to Walmart and stealing video games like Grand Theft Auto video games, wrapping them in foil, and then reselling them at the secondhand shop or whatever, secondhand video store. I mean, I didn't condone the behavior. I mean, I thought it was all fucked up,
Yeah.
And it didn't take very long, It only took a few. I mean, he was pretty clever, but it only took him like about 4 or 5 months before he had a warrant out for his arrest and he had to leave the state. That's how that works. It doesn't work. It's not really a functional program. You know what I mean?
No, it's
Stealing
a really
from Walmart to
messed up
support
life,
your heroin
man.
addiction.
Yeah, no, it's a really messed up life. And again, if heroin was $1 a day habit, no one would do that.
Nobody would do that if heroin was $1 a day habit.
Yeah.
And if a doctor would give you 3 pills a day, which was the equivalent of your heroin addiction, and said, there's your heroin for the day,
Right.
a lot of people would just take it and say, that's fine, I'll do that. And
They would say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
yeah, appreciate it. So apparently in Washington State right now, there is an initiative to decriminalize all drugs that was put forward yesterday.
Excellent.
And I'm trying to find the link to it, but it's at Stop the Drug War, and it was also at that Marijuana Moment. It was at both of their sites. And what they want to do is it's written by the same person who wrote the initiative in 2012. Holcomb is her name. I know she's not appreciated by the medical marijuana community, but this particular bill, she's a lawyer, civil libertarian, is the idea of it is that nobody will get a criminal offense for any possession of drugs in Washington State if they find something like heroin or crack or methamphetamines. The cop has to direct them to a rehabilitation center for drug evaluation. And that's where it stops. It doesn't say there's a penalty. It says if they go through drug evaluation, there would be no even fees associated with it, and it would be paid for by revenue from from recreational cannabis. That would be the funding for the mechanism. Basically, nobody would go to jail in the state for possessions of small amounts of any drugs. Very similar to an initiative that's being put forward in Oregon right now.
And I bet you money under that drug and under that law in Washington State, it's still illegal to grow marijuana. You want to bet?
Yeah, you'd win that bet probably. but it's still better than now. I mean, it's a little bit better than now. And then there's an article at I think it's at Washington again at Marijuana Moment, talking about the setbacks that all of the medical marijuana and the recreational marijuana campaigns have had across the United States. And I think they mentioned at Marijuana Moment that 2 months ago there were 11 states that had marijuana initiatives that were being planned for gathering signatures this spring and this summer. And because 2 months of the initiative season has been cut out, it looks like only 3 of those states are going to go forward with their initiatives, and like 8 of the states are going to have to drop their campaigns. And there's even some debate about like this drug legalization initiative, like the ACLU is going to push it in Washington State, and they say they can get the 70,000 signatures, but it's questionable. A lot of like smaller campaigns aren't going to have that much money to get that many signatures in such a truncated amount of time. So, and a lot of those campaigns, Mike, were in the plains, places like Oklahoma, places like Nebraska, places like Montana, places like the Dakotas, places like Arkansas, maybe even where that guy getting out of the bus in the prison in Louisiana was. Very conservative states, right? So those people in the plains.
There's a lot of conservatives in this state too, which is why passing, decriminalizing all drugs is a pretty big step.
Yeah, especially over the mountains and some of the rural communities, it's not. It would be less popular.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody can think that continuing the drug war is a good thing, but the people who have families, who have kids, just act fucking retarded sometimes.
So those folks are in those conservative states that have initiatives up for legalizing marijuana or for legalizing medicinal marijuana. They're going to have to wait at least 2 more years. So they're not even going to be able to go through this whole circus until 2022.
Yeah, that's really messed up, dude.
So that's because that's one of the byproducts of this COVID-19 thing that, not only did Bernie Sanders get completely fucked over in the Democratic primaries, that was a travesty in and of itself. But any kind of like progressive, legislation, and in this case, I'm talking about civil liberties and drugs, all of that is just going to be pushed to the side, and that also is a travesty. So our political process is just fucked up. If we even get a real election in November, and that's kind of debatable, will Joe Biden be the Democratic candidate for real? That seems to be debatable.
What I keep seeing is it's like people aren't afraid enough. So here's what we have to do: we have to make sure they know in the fall this COVID-19 is going to come back, and it's going to come back even worse. And this is what I keep seeing building now. So the election's off, dude.
Yeah, well, it's already crazy. The price of oil dropping below zero.
Yeah.
The president basically saying that he's king and he can make the declarations, and the fact that the elections might be off. All of that together does not bode well.
When he was talking about adjourning Congress the other day, I was like, what? I never heard no shit like that before, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut Congress down. What?
Yeah, and normally that would probably be enough to get you impeached like 15 years ago, if George Bush the father said that, or 20, 30 years ago. Last, before I go, Mike, this is a story from RT, and this story is talking about the price of drugs in Europe as a consequence of the coronavirus crisis. And the article in this morning at RT says, forget oil. Cocaine prices in France surge thanks to the coronavirus. And it says cannabis prices have soared by 60% in some regions of France, according to the Anti-Narcotics Office, while cocaine prices are soaring 14% in many areas. The price of cocaine has increased to 32,000 euros per kilo, from between 25,000 euros to 28,000 euros just before the lockdown. So it's increased like 7 to
it's
5 to
way
$7,000.
cheaper than that here. I'm sure cocaine is way cheaper than that here.
And it says air traffic from normal sources of coke and hard narcotics like Latin America has also dropped significantly, leaving only maritime routes to supply the country's users, who are already turning to alternatives in the face of the price spikes. So that's interesting. Like people can't fly, people aren't flying, and a lot of smugglers use flying to bring the drugs in. And then of course the borders are closed, so you can't. Usually in Europe, I think you can walk across borders pretty easily, or get on a train and go across borders very easily. But they've closed borders, so that's a new thing. So cocaine is more expensive in France tonight.
Well, we've talked about this numerous times, that cocaine is apparently the cure for COVID-19. So obviously the price would go up.
Oh, where's the site for that one? Oh, yeah. Was that a Wall Street source?
No, it was, what it was? It was Fox News was coming out, and they were doing this fact or fiction debunking stuff, and they're saying cocaine is not the cure for COVID-19. I was like, no way, because everything they say, you kind of got to take it. And when they're going out of their way to tell you that cocaine is not the cure, I'm pretty sure it's the motherfucking cure. So.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
The hedge fund investors and the Wall Street brokers have realized that cocaine is the cure for everything long time ago.
Exactly.
That's why they use more than everyone else.
Day and night, they do not go without their cocaine.
They definitely use a lot of cocaine, and that explains why they're so fidgety all the time when they look at their calculators. I really hope they close the cruise ship industry as a consequence of all this. Like,
cruise ship industry is dead.
It has to be. Like, there's 600 workers on a boat on a cruise ship in Nagasaki right now. There's like 50 people there who have been just diagnosed today. And then there was another cruise ship I read in the world, same situation on the open seas. And how many of them have there been? quite a few.
Listen,
around the world.
I've been so fucking amazed for the last 10, 15 years that the norovirus didn't kill the cruise ship industry, because every time there's an outbreak of that shit, man, it is nasty on those fucking boats. I mean, like fucking knee deep, fucking nasty, and they, and yet people seem to still go on them. So, but I really think this killed it completely.
I don't know, just a personal preference. I don't go on holiday that much. I don't go on a vacation that often, but I think I'd rather just go to a beach for a week instead of like being on a contained vessel, like with a bunch of people. I mean, I know touring I know people like that, but just seems kind of, I don't know. I don't think I would appreciate it.
No, see, the deal is that there's some people who go on vacation, and when they go on vacation, it's kind of like they go on a shopping spree. It's like, they're going to spend money, and that's their idea of a vacation, as where being as far away from people and enjoying the sound of the ocean, lapping at the shore. Most people don't think of that shit anymore.
Favorite beach I ever went to in the world, Zipolite in Oaxaca, which was a nudist beach in southern Mexico. And, man, people weren't very uptight there at all. They were pretty relaxed.
Right on.
And herb was pretty cheap, and people seemed to be very friendly, unlike a cruise ship, I would imagine. So, anyway, I don't understand the world, but I appreciate your program, and I look forward to listening to the other callers.
Hey, Chris, it's always good to hear from you, and thanks for sharing about the beach information. I hope people are taking notes.
Yeah, man. You can take the train there from Mexico. You used to be able to take the train from Mexico City to Oaxaca City and then straight to the ocean. Zipolite. It's a very beautiful place.
Sounds awesome.
I'll talk to you later, Mike. Have a good night.
All right, Chris. Stay cool. See ya.
Peace.
That's our buddy Chris from Olympia. It's always good to hear from him. He's just a wealth of information. Just never ending. I got this for you. I'm like, hey, that is incredibly considerate of you to want to share input with, and to all the callers. I mean, of course, you guys are my favorite. You know that already, though. You know that already. Let me see what we're doing now. Let's see. So I have more videos. I have a video about Tucker. I have a video from Tucker, and he was talking about Sweden tonight. Chris was talking about Sweden. Tucker was talking about Sweden, and I think that's the clip that I have where they were saying that like 600,000 plus people in Sweden now, apparently, according to the study, have the antibodies and are apparently protected from the COVID-19. And part of the reason that they have that is because they never put social distancing rules in place. They never did mandatory social distancing. Hello, caller.
Hey, what are you doing?
I am doing this thing that I do all the time. What are you doing?
I'm doing this thing that I do, a room full of smoke, deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts.
Thoughts.
That sounds like such a meditative thing to say, just like a chant, like deep thoughts.
Yeah, I always say that when I haven't got a clue what's going on. Deep thoughts.
I'm so fucking high right now. Deep thoughts.
It's like, what the hell did I call you for? I don't even know what I'm going to say. It's like,
excellent.
I don't know. Crazy world, huh?
The world. It's always been a crazy world, man. It's always been a crazy,
dude.
It's always been a crazy world.
I think they fucked us in the ass with this one, and most of the people just gonna end up liking it. It's like, oh, I gotta walk around with a government dildo up my ass all the time because I'm a citizen. It's like, man, that's the last thing I want to see people is to get complacent to the way things are. Like I was thinking about this guy Fauci, who I watch 2 or 3 times a week, you know, because it's the same fucking spiel. Every motherfucking time it's the same fucking spiel, right? This is a guy who knows a minimum of 100 times more than I do about anything medical, right? Smartest guy in the world, apparently. He's standing right next to the best guy in the world.
Very stable genius. Very stable genius.
Very stable genius. So he must be the smartest guy in the world. Trump, you notice Trump.
Well, I don't know about the smartest, but he is the second coming.
Yeah, him and Bill Gates, man. It's like Gabriel and Raphael, you know, like the archangels of truth. It's like, get your fucking shot, get your permit. It's like, yeah, right. But anyways, I was thinking about that dude, Fauci, and I was thinking about all little bits of research that I run across during the week. And, you know, there's like, I heard you and I think Chris were talking a little bit about blood types and if you get the virus this and if you get the virus that. But there's like anywhere between 8 and 30 different strains, different mutations of this SARS-2, as far as I can tell. I read 30 before, I read 8 today, and I know I saw a map that said A, B, and C, so I know for sure there's at least 3. But every time this guy Fauci goes on TV, national TV, for God knows how long, he gives like the car salesman speech when he could actually get a blackboard up there and talk in detail about it. Yeah, well, there's 3 different strains, and they mutated, and they originated at different times on the planet in 3 different places, and we really don't know, but if they talk like they know, you know, and we really have to be safe, we really have to be cautious, we don't want a second flare-up, you know, they don't go, that's about as deep as they go. And they don't talk about the ventilators or the cytokine storm, you know, or well, we're finding out that the ventilators might not be the right technique. They can't. You notice how a politician, and let's include Fauci into that category, he seems to be very political. Whether he's on TV or not, he's fucking political. So you notice how a politician kind of avoids the details and just gives you like the overview they want you to swallow. And so that's what we're getting. We're getting way incomplete details, which are telling us how to run our lives. And I think, you know, as stupid as I believe people to be, if you put detailed information about their very life or death on TV, they might pay attention to it. And some hillbilly like me might go, oh, yeah, well, SARS-2, you know, has 8 different mutations and it originated at 3 times, and maybe the cytokine storm isn't, you know, respirator isn't the best thing for a cytokine storm, and you just go into the fucking details. But they want to squish every conspiracy theory, which some of them are true, like, you know, did it have an American origin? Yeah. American money went into it? Yeah. Were we funding the lab in Wuhan, in the Yukon? Yeah. So it's like you never hear that shit. All you hear is like, oh, we got steel-belted radials and Corinthian leather, and we got, you know, it's got 8 cylinders under the hood, and it's a really fine car, and we're doing the best we can. And my friend here, the very stable genius, he'll talk right now, and then they go on. It's the same. It's just if I'm burned out on it, imagine Trump and Fauci. They look kind of burned out on it too. It's like, what the fuck? Why don't you guys be something better than what you are? Because you're 2 fucking clowns. One's a midget and one's got orange hair, and he's always looks like he just took his sunglasses off. Why the fuck is his eye socket so white all the time? It's like, what do? Put cucumbers on his eyes when they spray his skin orange? once a month. What's up with that? What's up with that, Mike?
It just, this is his thing, right? Like, when I say the second coming and that, it's this thing where he has this vision of Adonis. But, if you ever look, at the paintings or any kind of a rendition of a god, you may see blue people, but I guarantee you're not going to see an orange guy with white eyes and fucking fake fucking golden hair.
And yeah, kind of a, he reminds me of some of my ex-bosses, actually, who were never wrong. They get to punish you if they want. Even when you did the best job possible, it wasn't good enough, you're fired. So, man, it's like, I want to work for Donald Trump. You'd have to pay me in full, in advance, to get me to work for Donald Trump, because that's,
No way in hell, man. I'm not going to get anywhere near the guy. I'm not going to do anything. It's like working for Satan, man. It's like, I couldn't do that. That would be, it's like selling part of you. It's like working for the military industrial complex.
You gotta, tell me what you think about this, Mike. I'm noticing that Donald Trump is way strained. He's way worried, and this whole COVID-19 thing fucked up his legacy, and he's going to be the guy that fucked everything up. Why did I have to be the president when the plague came? Why couldn't it have come when Obama was president? I think
everything Donald Trump touches goes to shit, dude. But you know what? I tell you, I don't think he's worried for a second, because I bet you he's making, this fucking bailout shit. All of his fucking businesses, every single one of them applied and got approved for massive amounts of money and blah, blah, blah,
Well, yeah. Yeah, he's making money, because, all the corporations are getting paid for their supposed loss of business, right? As if.
And my theory is, again and again, I don't know if you saw the clip that we played earlier, but Craig came up with a clip that we can't corroborate the authenticity of, but it's at a press conference, out of one of Donald Trump's press conferences, and it's like before the conference takes place, and
the guy that said it's a hoax, or
the guy that said, we've all been vaccinated, we've already been vaccinated.
Hot Mike, it's been on. Why can't you verify it? It's been on major TV.
Oh yeah.
As far as I know.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on major TV.
Oh well, maybe I saw it on YouTube, but it seemed like it was a pretty straight right-wing channel that I saw, but could have been just YouTube. But I would guess that's.
And that, again, is the plot of V for Vendetta. They release a fucking virus that they already have the cure for, and the only reason that they release it is because they know it's going to kill a bunch of people, and they can terrify the entire population, lock it down, and then, have people cowering in their homes, and steal everything that's not bolted down, and fucking and make massive amounts of money off the fact that they already have the cure for this thing that everyone now in the world is terrified of.
And then after that, after everyone gets kicked out of their rentals because they got no money, and all the so-called hard to achieve rescue packages are ended. Well, you guys had your 3-month thing or your 2-month thing, and now you've got to fend for yourselves, and the homeless population doubles. Then they're going to do another corporate buy-up of all the people that lost their houses, and so...
Yeah, the government will probably fund that for them, too.
Right, yeah, and they removed all the restrictions on... large buyouts like that, and we're looking at multiple tragedies that are going to probably, I hate to be a fucking stick in the mud, but they're probably going to happen 2-3 months apart. First first the people getting evicted, then the homeless thing, then the corporate buyout of the homeowners that defaulted on their mortgages, and hopefully after that a revolution. I mean, I don't. What can come after that? It's what, more plague? You know, it's more plague. But I think as far as that clip goes, that did you show it already, or are you going to show it?
We showed it already.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw it earlier twice from two different channels, and I think I saw it last night too.
Yeah, Craig had it last night, but he didn't have it edited yet.
Yeah, and I don't think that's an overdub. I think that was a legitimate hot mic, and the guy with no mask was a legitimate network newscaster. I forget his name, but
yeah, no, he's the normal. Those were the normal White House people in there, except for the guy that was like talking to whichever.
How the hell it escaped onto the internet? I don't know. Why would who knows? Maybe one of the employees, maybe the cameraman made a copy or something. Who knows? You know. But I think my point is, I think that statistic is correct. It's 0.9 or 0.8%. So it's exactly equivocal to the common flu as far as deaths go.
I have that video. You want to see it? Can you see your screen? Can you hear?
Yeah.
I'll play it. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll play it so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Okay, great.
What's up, Johnny?
All right, man.
What do you know, Dave?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3.
Yeah, I think that's probably a legitimate statistic.
That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3. Does a study to get out of it?
Yeah, just give it to them. So it suggests that the case fatality rate is 10.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
You know, Dave.
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to USC.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes.
You know, Dave.
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to USC.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
All right, so that's the video that we were talking about just a minute ago, and I wanted to play that for you in case you didn't see it earlier, because I played it early on. And to me, the key thing there is that they say that they've all already been vaccinated. So again, the plot.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The plot
I
of
didn't
V.
even pay attention to that, but that's a great point.
The
You're
plot
right,
of V
you're right.
for Vendetta is that, they released the vaccine, and I pointed this out again and again, that I believe they already have the vaccine or the cure because, and I said this earlier, why on earth would the President of the United States spend multiple hours in that room with people who could be showing no symptoms, because we hear that again and again. That's why we all have to social distance, no fever, no nothing, and yet they're contagious and spreading the disease. Why would he spend hours in that contained room with them? Like, that's just fine. Nobody wearing masks, and especially if this is as dangerous as they keep trying to tell us that it is. You know.
Well, remember about you're completely correct. Those are excellent points. Remember about a month ago, everybody on the news was giving Donald Trump shit because he tried to buy a vaccine off of Germany. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I've also seen other research not connected with Donald Trump trying to buy a vaccine off of Germany, that there was a patent filed in 2016 or 17 on the SARS-2 virus in Europe. All I heard was Europe, but of course Germany is part of Europe. So these are very excellent points, and they indicate a massive deception, and more massive than the events of September 11th, 2001.
And also, the only way that they would be able to have the vaccine is if this was created in a lab, and they created the vaccine at basically the same time before they released it.
SARS-2 was patented in 2006 or 8, but the vaccine was patented much later in 2016 or 17. Or maybe I got the first one wrong. Maybe it was...
But again, you can't create the vaccine if you don't know what it is. So they already knew what this was, which means that they created it, and which means that they somehow released it at the same time, whether it was accidental or not.
As far as I can remember, the patent for the virus itself is an American patent, and the patent for the vaccine is a European patent, patented several years later. I'm sure I got some of the dates wrong, but yeah, once you patent a virus, it'll take several years to work on a vaccine, and I kind of think somebody wants to inject us, Mike, but I'm not getting injected with nothing. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, they want to do a whole bunch of stuff to us. And as I have said in the past, I bite. And if you get close enough, I will bite you in the face.
Yeah, well, why don't you just get yourself a gun and make sure you eat your brownies? That way you won't shoot the wrong person, you know?
Yeah, because I like to look them in the eye when I bite them in the face.
Yeah, okay, well... We're off the edge of the map, dude. Here be monsters, as they say in the old Middle Age maps. Here be monsters, and they got a picture of a dragon, and you're way out in the middle of nowhere where no one's ever been. So, nonetheless, the disease is real. Much of the major spiels is nothing but a cover story. We all know that. And, you know, they're still harping on about animal origin. You know, well, you know, and then they got their fact checkers and their fact and fiction. You just showed that, you know, fact and fiction. I've even heard stories that smokers develop some sort of resistance to the virus, you know, which I find hard to believe myself as a smoker, but... you know, fuck. I mean, we're swimming in muddy waters, and it's really hard to find clear evidence of what's actually going on. But I think anybody with any sort of brains and intuition knows we're being played apparently at a national level. That was a national White House prep briefing you just showed. They were just right before Fauci and the gang walked in. They were just... One guy's wearing a mask. The other guy says, you can take that off now. It's like, fuck these guys. You got vaccines? Good for you. I hope you fucking die of the vaccine, motherfucker. Stop lying to me on the television. I mean, it's disgusting. We're being lied to. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. We've been lied to a long time, and it's always been disgusting. And I've said again and again, the people deserve better, you know. And it has nothing to do with this coronavirus shit. But again, it's so clear how evil government is, because it's not just the U.S. government; it's all the fucking governments around the world. You know, they're all fucking with us. They all know what the truth is. And I don't know, man. Maybe not. Maybe that's the reason Boris Johnson got sick, is because, you know, it's just the fucking White House that has the cure.
Well,
but you said it came from Germany.
Pretty convinced there's at least 3 mutations. You know, A, B, and C. We have A here on the West Coast. You had B in China and C in Italy. I don't know what they got in Iran. I don't know what they had in, I think Spain was C also. And nonetheless, you get those same 2 dumb fucks and maybe a couple more. I don't watch the whole briefing, but you get Fauci and Trump up there just doing a car sale. You know, it's like, this is a Pontiac Grand Prix, you know, and we're doing the best we can, and we have the best people in place, and I'm a very stable genius, and, well, I really don't want, you know, Fauci is like, this is a guy capable of going into a million more details than I ever will be, but he's polishing a car on TV. That's all he's doing.
You know, the guy who hands out the grant money for vaccine research was fired yesterday.
Who did he work for?
I don't know if it's NIH, the National Health Institute, or National Institute of Health, or I think it was National Institute of Health. He is government, but he was in charge, and apparently he got fired. He got demoted down to some fucking joke job because he was disputing people that were pushing for to eat the cola, whatever the fuck Trump keeps telling people to eat, the Colloquin, I think.
And do you know who fired him? Who has the capacity to fire him? Fauci?
Yeah, I think that there's a whole, I'm not sure exactly, but I think that that they're all in on this shit, you know.
Because I've stumbled across plenty of seemingly valid information that says Fauci made a lot of money off of the HIV vaccine, and he cost other people their jobs, and he even during the HIV crisis, and he even absconded with other scientists' work during that time, particularly a female who was employed by the CDC and other institutes, and she refused to give him her work for a while. And then when the work did go to Fauci, he copied it and took credit for it and made money off of the HIV. And people are saying he killed a lot of people because he slowed the whole thing down. Now, I know nothing about the whole AIDS process, but there's a lot of dirt coming out on Fauci. He's not a clean player. I think you were right from the get-go. They're all making money, and obviously even the dumb fucking reporter is in on it, you know.
Yeah, the reporters, and that's the real problem, is the reports, the fucking news people who are supposed to be the watchdogs, they know what's going on. But then you have to ask yourself, if they know what's going on, how come Chris Cuomo gets sick, right? But he's not working at the White House, so he's probably, we don't have to vaccinate him. He's persona non grata.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
And he could be acting the whole time too, anyways.
Say what?
It could be fake when he says that he has the virus.
Yeah. Well, the numbers are padded, and they definitely want to push fucking vaccines on us, and they're predicting a second plague.
Right.
And everybody is like worried if if they're employed, it's like, man, I better fucking just stay employed. I don't want to lose my job, blah, blah, blah. Some people are doing better on unemployment, like my son. He's making a few more bucks on unemployment than he made being employed. But the stress on the people, I mean, just take a walk through the grocery stores. You'll see the stress on the people. And you got so many, what do they call them?
Which again is why I keep trying to tell you guys, light and, keep it light and, enjoy what there is to enjoy, because there is something to enjoy, and don't just act like it's all fucking doom and gloom. Go ahead.
Well, people are afraid of the air now.
People are afraid. People are afraid of their fucking shadows, and they have been for a long, long time.
They're walking around in a park with no one around them, and the breeze blowing, and they got a mask on, like the air is poisonous.
Yeah.
It's like, how stupid can you get, man? This is planet Earth, and you're alive on it, so be alive on it. I don't know what to. It's just, this is a psyop of massive proportions, and I just hope humanity is not over the edge of the cliff of apathy where they're just going to swallow this shit and say, oh, yeah, well, that thing happened in 2020, and now it's 2025, and we all got ankle bracelets on, So the government knows who we talk to, and, I don't mind if my refrigerator spies on me, and, so I had to buy 5 extra permits this year, one for walking across the street and one for driving over 20 miles. And, I got a ticket today for a non-essential trip. Well, what the fuck, this is very much the police state is coming in. The cops are the dumbest people on the planet, pretty much. So they're going to try to enforce laws that don't exist. And the congressmen are going to try to pass laws that should never be in existence. So, get your torches, get your pitchforks. It's time for a fucking revolution real soon. Don't get apathetic. It's your life. You own it. It's your planet. You own it. You're the owners of planet Earth. You're not the slaves. And those fucks in Washington, D.C. are not your owners. You own planet Earth, and you own your own life. Period.
I agree. I agree. I believe that I've said again and again that the problem capitalism is that the rich get the first thing they get is all the natural resources, and that's our natural resources. The oil in the ground, that's our oil in the ground. The water that we drink, that's our water. It belongs to us. But they fucking own it. And then they dole it out to us in the smallest fucking amounts possible for the highest price they can get.
They sell it back to us for a profit, And you'll notice the countries we invade are the countries that nationalize their own fucking resources. We can't have that because our corporations can't make money on countries that nationalize their own resources, So, there's a black market. It's called the socialist countries, the countries that aren't truly hooked into the world banks, and we got to crack down on that. They shot at somebody they shot a guy in Manila yesterday. It didn't make the national news, but and then they shot some dumb fuck in a Walmart, I think, who was waving a bat and having a little freak out session where if I was a cop, I could have gone up to him and say, hey, buddy, talk to him and grab the bat, and he didn't have to die. And we're going to see more of this shit. And then I guess within the month we're going to see more suicides. So I'm just going to stay calm. I'm really going to try to be as productive as possible because I'm sick of this lockdown, dude. It's like, fuck. Yeah, I'm not going to. You got, I might continue to decrease my interaction with society, but I'm going to produce, man. I'm going to produce a lot of songs. I'm ready. And I'm going to produce a lot of other good stuff too, material stuff like gardens and structures and I'm just going to be really productive and really disciplined, and I'm not going to be afraid of the air. And nobody owns me. That's my commitment to God right there. Nobody owns me. God even tells you that. Nobody owns you.
Yeah, that's part of why I say that thing that I say, that people hate it when I say it. But, the thing is that God's not this thin-skinned little bitch boy like fucking Donald Trump, who the second you say something against God, God's like, oh my God. Or if you don't fucking bow down 10 fucking times a day to fucking God, then you ain't getting into heaven. Like as if somehow, like with Donald Trump, if you don't fucking tell him 5,000 times a day how good he looks today, somehow you're in jeopardy of losing your job. How stupid is that? Who the fuck wants to fucking pray to a God like that? That's retarded, man. It makes no sense. An omnipotent being needs a little pissant to bow down to it 5 times a day, or it's just fucking so crushed that it's gonna fucking make that work. It's gonna make that pissant a living life, the rest of its existence a living hell. It just doesn't make any sense. It just, especially, and then you call it like, unconditional love. This is a big, giant difference there. But it's
300 years ago, I was walking around in America as a member of some tribe somewhere, connected to the earth, very little clothing, in touch with nature. My life was full of magic, totally connected to God. What am I looking at on TV today? I'm looking at people who are disconnected from nature, disconnected from God. They don't have a clue. They're absolute materialists. They cover up their bodies with these fake fucking suits, and ties, remnants of European culture.
I fucking hate ties, man. If you look at some of the other cultures around the world, the people that are, well-to-do don't wear fucking bullshit like a leash around your neck that someone can grab and lead you where they want you to be, Because that's what a tie reminds me of.
Yeah, that's and you'll notice that's spread all over the planet from the 20s and 30s. That's when it spread all over the planet, and all of the industrialists and the big business people everywhere, every corner of the globe, started wearing ties because America is the cultural leader. And look what we've done to ourselves, man. Look what we've done to the earth. Look what we've permitted. I don't even know if there is a hell or a heaven, but if there is a hell or a heaven, it's probably right here.
Yeah.
So look what we've done to the planet, dude.
Yeah, it's this is again, I don't like to think of the Earth in that way, because she's amazing. And when you actually look at what's happening, you can see that this COVID-19 thing is taking actual steps to repair her at the moment, with people not buying all this fucking stupid fucking shit that they buy endlessly, whether it be fucking petroleum, fossil fuel petroleum, or whatever else, because it's endless. The world the earth begins to almost immediately heal herself. And if we could just make that the priority, I know that we could still do that. And I think that if people view her as some kind of a hell, they're not going to see it as worthy of being rescued or whatever.
Or they're going to get mad, and they're going to fix it.
Yeah, if you can understand that it's a hell because it's a prison, then yeah,
Well, there's not much besides blowing up the planet with the Death Star or unleashing an even more horrible virus that we could do to planet Earth that it can't heal. She can't heal herself.
Well, we could kill all the humans, and she won't be able to survive that.
But the humans are not planet Earth. We're just one species, dude.
Yeah, no, but see, the humans are connected to the survival of all the other species on the planet at this point.
No, man. There
Yes.
was a
Yes.
million species before humans were really developed.
No, you don't understand. Right now, at this time in history, humans have set up 100,000 nuclear fission reactors that are waiting to melt down the second there's no one to fucking maintain them every minute of every day.
We could train the giraffes, Mike. I think the giraffes could maintain the nuclear fission site.
Look. I don't want to put. I don't want to put the existence of the world on the giraffes. That's not fair. You know.
Well, you know, you're proving my theory that we are so disconnected from nature, and we are so disconnected from God, which is nature, that we've really fucked the planet up. And if we don't rise up, who the fuck is going to do it? I mean, really, it's like people are more concerned with what other people think about them. What's my image? What's my avatar? Am I smart? Am I handsome? Am I cool? They're more concerned about that shit than they are about cleaning the planet up and getting some sane societies thriving, because we're not thriving yet. I wouldn't call what we got right now thriving sanity. I think we're pre-thriving, pre-sanity. You know, we have the opportunity to enter into sanity as a planetary people. So, but it's not hell, and it could be heaven.
It could be paradise. It's meant to be a paradise where there's plenty for everyone. And for the big brain top of the food chain, plenty for everyone to be able to do what they want to make happen on this planet. The problem is greed and this fucking a belief that somehow, you know, as long as I get mine, it's fine.
Right. And the opportunity we have, besides becoming brave as a planetary species, is to come into a greater consciousness that we are all connected. You know, that the person dying in Bangladesh is connected to me, and the corruption that goes on in the Beltway, Washington, D.C., that is connected to me, and you know, oil leaks somewhere off a platform off of South America, that is connected to me. Or, you know, Bolsonaro and his bullshit, that is connected to me. Or some homeless girl that I could pass by, but I don't, that she is connected to me. And so we have that opportunity to come into a greater kind of consciousness. But we're subject to the divide and conquer strategy of fear, 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 terror, 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 bad guys, bad guys. You have too much freedom, I'm going to report you, and then don't mention the police. It's like the police are like a fucking just enforcers of insanity. So I want to concentrate on the opportunity that we have, because it's so severe and so serious right now with these viruses in the plural, and you got 30 nuclear plants leaking in France. You got Hanover up by you, I think it's called. You got all kinds of shit. You know, if we don't, the house is on fire, and if we don't put the fire out, it's our fault. You know, I take responsibility.
The house has been on fire for a long time. Buddha said, everything is burning, and people, you know, they struggle to open their eyes to what's happening, and it's all because of this greed, man. It's all because we could have everything, but because of greed, we separate us all down to these little tiny boxes, and you know, and then act like somehow the people who need the help the most are not our concern.
Yeah, well, I think you and I agree. They are our concern. They are our brothers and sisters, and I just feel a deep connection to the planet, and I guess that's my final word, dude. Is I thought Fukushima was bad. I thought 9/11 was bad. This is bad, dude. So I'm not worried. I mean, I guess I'm worried, but not for myself. I'm worried for humanity. It's like, fuck. I know I'm gonna go sooner or later. I mean, I hope all my chain smoking gives me protection from COVID-19 and SARS-11 and the AIDS and Ebola they crossed with the coronavirus. I don't know, man. I hope at least, if I start bleeding from the eyes, just kick me in a hole, man.
Yeah, that Ebola, that would not be a way to go.
No, man. So, I don't want to lose sight. That's my goal, is fucking, these guys are washing fucking Pontiacs on TV. The president's washing his little Pontiac, right? Grand Prix. We have the best Grand Prix. It's like, you dumb fuck. And Fauci, he's just saying the same thing every day, and the reporters ask him the same fucking questions. But they have the ability to go really deep. You and I almost went deeper right now than Fauci does on any given press conference. So,
well, yeah, we just talked about the fact that apparently they have the vaccine already, and they're not telling anyone.
Yeah.
That's a little bit deeper, yeah. We did that just now. Don't forget, on Mox News.
Okay, keep it moving, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, good to hear from you, Michael. Stay cool, man.
Yeah, take care.
That's our buddy Michael from Southern California. Craig, do you have another caller? Okay, lines are open. I'm going to play a video for you here, and I'm going to heat the hookah up after I go and heat my tea up, and then we'll have a big old puff. Okay, we'll have dabs in space. So here's a clip for you that I think you will find most interesting, in which Tucker explains why the lockdown and social distancing doesn't work.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, a little overview. Here's where we are as of 8 p.m. Eastern, which is to say right now. In many places in this country, Americans cannot go to the park with their children. They can't go to church. They can't have family dinners with their relatives. They can't go to the dentist. They can't get a knee replacement. They can't get married. Tens of millions of them can't afford to do much of anything right now because they're unemployed. But they'd better not complain about it. If they voice their complaints online, they're liable to be censored by the tech companies. If they complain in public, they could be arrested, and a number of them have been. The whims of our political leaders are now unquestioned law. Dissent has been banned, and that ban is relentlessly enforced by the willing stooges in our media who have finally stopped pretending they don't hate you. They definitely do. What country is this? Well, it's a country in a lockdown. We're told we have no choice but to do this, to stop our lives completely. Mass quarantines, they tell us again and again, are the only way to save lives. But that's a lie. They don't know it's true, despite what they claim. There is no scientific record to consult. It's never been done. We're currently living through the largest and most expensive experiment ever conducted in human history. We have spent trillions of dollars and crushed millions of people purely on the guess that a nationwide lockdown would save us from the coronavirus. Has it worked? Was the guess correct? Let's look at the data. That's where we should always begin. It's what our leaders should be consulting daily. Here it is. As of tonight, 8 U.S. states have not issued statewide shelter-in-place orders for their citizens. Those states are Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Utah, and Wyoming. The question is, have these states suffered for not locking down? And the answer is no, they haven't, at least not yet. Currently, all 8 states are below the national average in coronavirus cases and deaths per capita. That's not to say they've been immune to the virus. They haven't been. But they definitely have not been hit harder than other states. Now, as a matter of social science, those 8 states are, it is true, on average smaller and less dense, in some cases much less dense, than the hardest hit states. But you can adjust the numbers. In a recent article, journalist and professor Wilfred Reilly did the math on this. He compared states that are locked down to states without lockdowns. He then performed statistical regressions that accounted for population, density, income levels, age, and racial diversity. He put his formulas right up there and challenged people to run the same numbers through those formulas or change them, come to a different conclusion if they could. No one has so far. Here's what he found. He found that a state's lockdown strategy had virtually no effect on how severe its outbreak of the Wuhan coronavirus was. Are you surprised by this? Maybe you shouldn't be. You can see the same trend at work in other countries. Sweden, most famously, has never locked down. Restaurants there have never closed. That country is still suffering from coronavirus, suffering more, in fact, than we are here in the U.S. But the country's epidemic appears to have peaked. And without locking down, Sweden, and this is the key, has fared far better than other European countries that did lock down. That includes Britain, Italy, Spain, Belgium. How can this be true? It seems to contravene everything we hear all day long. Lockdowns stop the virus. That's what they tell us, almost always at high volume and with maximum outrage and self-righteousness, daring us to disagree. But in fact, there's not much evidence that it's true. Consider the state of California, which was one of the first states to shut down. In a televised statement, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti bragged that his city was under his absolute personal control. And for that reason, the coronavirus would not spread there. Anyone who disobeyed him would be hunted down. That's literally the phrase Garcetti used. Watch this.
This has really been marvelously embraced by 99.9% of people. We see it in the traffic data, we see it in the cell phone data, but we're going to hunt down that last 0.1% and say, you got to get inside, you got to cut it out, and you got to distance.
We're going to hunt down people who are outside? They spent years calling Donald Trump a fascist, if only. Garcetti, you may have just heard, brag that he was surveilling people's cars and tracking their cell phone use. But even that wasn't far enough for him. Garcetti also intentionally ruined city parks in Los Angeles just so that nobody could use them without his personal authorization.
We saw this week, for instance, at the skate park at Venice Beach, and people were there, so we had to put sand into the skate park to make that unusable for now. When we come out of this, we'll clean that sand out.
No modern political leader in this country has ever talked like this, ever. And yet suddenly in cities across the nation, so many of them are talking just like that. It's authoritarian. Has this new authoritarianism produced results apart from a surge of power for the politicians exercising it? Well, let's see. Again, to the numbers. A new study by researchers at USC, University of Southern California, tested large groups of people in Los Angeles County for coronavirus antibodies. They found that as of early April, up to 5.6% of the entire county had contracted the illness. That means up to 320,000 adults in Los Angeles apparently had already had it. At the time, the official number of infected people was about 8,000. City officials had no clue. They weren't even close. The virus had spread throughout a huge population right in the middle of the most restrictive quarantine in American history. What does that tell you? It tells you the lockdown didn't work. The question is, why exactly did it fail? And we don't know. We can only guess. Maybe people ignored the requirements of it, or maybe full enforcement of it was impossible, despite the fact they were tracking people's cars and cell phones. Or maybe forcing people to stay inside all day isn't actually a good way to contain a virus. Whatever the reason that it failed, it did. Our leaders guessed wrong. They claimed that a lockdown would halt the spread of the virus. It did not do that, not even close. And they need to admit that. And then we need to change our approach based on the science, not on their whims, on the numbers, on what we've learned. But we're not doing that. Public officials are instead, by and large, ignoring any evidence that indicts their policies, or critically, that might threaten their new and much-loved power. They don't want to know what the facts are. Indeed, some of them are even now, right now, promising even longer lockdowns, ones that extend maybe through the end of the summer, and even tougher punishments for those who disobey them. They're deploying drones to catch people who dare to go outside. Americans. This is insanity. It is definitely, and this cannot be stated emphatically enough, it is definitely not science. This is not science. It has nothing to do with the public's health. much less the broader public interest. This is instead what happens when mediocre people suddenly find themselves with godlike power, deciding who can go outside, when people can get married, which medical procedures you're allowed to have. That's a feeling of omnipotence, and they like that feeling. It fills an empty place inside. They don't want to give it up. They want it to last forever, even as the country dies. But it can't last forever because it's not their country. It's ours.
Sorry, I forgot I was going to take a puff. I forgot I told you I was going to take a puff. I was like, wait, I should be doing something. What am I supposed to be doing right now? What can I be doing? I'm like, oh yeah, fucking bong. Heat the fucking bong, man. What are you doing? Heat up the fucking bong. Yeah, you can send them up anytime. It's hot. So hot right now. It's glowy red. Can you see the glowy red? You can't see the glowy red. Oh, maybe. A little bit. Hello, caller.
What's going on, Max?
I'm about to take a big fat dab. Who is this?
This is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. Kevin has been holding for like 45 minutes now. Thanks so much for being patient, Kevin. It's very nice of you, and thanks very much for calling.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for taking my call. What did I want to talk about? I remember a couple months ago, I gave you crap for supporting Bernie.
Yeah.
And now you see why?
Yeah, no, of course. I understand why, and again, I've said on this show just recently, fool me once, shame on you, and fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? So I get it totally.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to blame you. There's a lot of people who got duped by him. A lot of people get duped by Trump. And if you see, he does good lip service. He says everything you want to hear. Fighting the rich and everyone's the 1% and this and that. But if you look at his voting record, it's nothing special. A lot of red flags in his voting record. And so, with the 2016 stuff, he pretty much just gave it away, gave in, abandoned all his principles to endorse Clinton. So that was a red flag number one.
Right, that's what I'm saying about the fool me once, shame on you thing, because obviously, I mean, he that was devastating to an awful lot of us.
And what did it for me was that press conference that got taken over. They got taken over by those protesters. Remember that? You remember that, right?
Yeah.
That was just a bad look, and that was a red flag right there. Come on, you got to stand firm. You can't let your podium, your speaking, your platform get taken over like that. That's not what a leader should do.
Well, look, here's the deal about that, okay? The deal about that is that was in downtown Seattle. Hold on one sec.
Yep.
Hold on one sec. Woo! That was in downtown Seattle. There's a lot of crazy people there. Obviously, he had zero security. So, you expect him, who has zero security, to go and somehow wrestle a microphone back from what could potentially be a seriously mentally ill person. I think that's asking an awful lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can see that point. You just kind of let these nut jobs say their piece, and
if he had proper security, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. And if it did happen, then the security handles it, not some guy who's potentially the next president of the United States.
Yeah, I hear you there. My biggest problem was people are trying to make him out to be the victim. Like, oh, they're all against him, and they don't want to let him in. Well, he demonstrated he doesn't want to be in. He's got no backbone.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't need their permission to be in. He had the support of the people. All he had to do was step up and go 1-2. Hillary Clinton is down, and she is not getting back up. All he had to do is go 1-2, boom. Joe Biden goes down, and he is not getting back. It's that simple, and he refused to do so.
Yep. And then with the donations, him begging for donations every week. I need your donations. Everybody, I need your donations.
Well,
what's he do?
I despise that, they say they need your donations, which they don't really need it unless they're actually running for fucking president. Then you actually do need it because, you're going to have to fucking put up a real fight. But if you just need it so that you can tour around the country and pretend like you're going to fucking run for president and rally up the grassroots in this fucking country and then fucking gracefully bow out, fuck you. If you're not going to fight to the death, to the end, nobody should give you a fucking penny.
Exactly. All those people, I'm guessing, are not very wealthy.
And you know that
scraping by, and they're giving whatever they can.
Right. He points that out again and again. And you know what else, Kevin, is that he makes it sound like, for me, the reason it's shame on me is because he makes it sound like there's all these problems in the world, and if we don't fix these problems right now, the world, there is no future. Your children are doomed. He makes it sound like that, and then he makes it sound like, and I am the only person who is going to address these problems, right? And if that's true, then why the fuck is he gracefully bowing out? You're fighting for the very existence of this species, man. How the fuck can you gracefully bow out? You make them fucking drag you off the stage tooth and nail because it means that either we get to fucking have a future or we don't. And then obviously he bowed gracefully out. Fuck you, Bernie Sanders. Never again.
You know what else he says? He says, we're facing the greatest threat in the history of America. This is the biggest threat. So vote for Joe Biden. That will solve it all.
You do that pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's just, he completely, I just saw it all along. I saw it all along. He's a communist, no doubt.
Yeah, well, it's not that he's a communist. It's that he's what they call a sheepdog or a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's the controlled opposition. He goes out and he says the things that the grassroots people are dying to hear someone say. And he starts to say them, the completely failed drug war. God. And people go, oh my God, how many fucking years have I been waiting for someone to say this? And we fall for it all over again,
Yeah, I hear you. He's, that's what they all do. They all say the same thing. They pander to their base. They do the lip service. And when it comes time to getting in office, when push comes to shove, it's business as usual.
Yeah, status quo, baby.
Status quo.
Keep that ship steady as it goes.
Yep. Well, that's all I want to talk about. Had to rub in your face.
That's it? That's it? You waited 45 minutes to fucking say nah, nah, nah?
Had to with that Bernie situation. Because I watched Jimmy Dore. I'm sure you're familiar with him, Jimmy Dore.
Say it again, fucker. You go on his show and say my name?
Oh, come on. He's a big show. He's a good guy. So I watch him, and he's been up that same boat. He was duped, too. And he's breaking down all these points. How everybody, the progressive movement kind of got behind them and betrayed them. And everyone, like the AOCs and this and that, they're going along with the program. And another point I want to make up. How about Alyssa Milano? The hypocrisy there. Did you talk about that?
I don't know. What about Alyssa Milano?
how she's the Me Too queen, and then believe all women, this and that. But when it comes to Joe Biden and his allegation against him, then it's due process and.
Oh really? No, I didn't hear her talking about Joe Biden like that.
Oh yeah, she was all on board. When it comes to Kavanaugh.
You know that whole. I mean, I don't want to dispel people who have horrible stories about being manhandled and abused by men, right? I mean, but these people that are the front of the movement are not. They're not very bright, and they say stupid shit like. Pussies are not for grabbing. I keep pointing this out. There was I can't remember which one of the actresses said pussies are not for grabbing at a big rally like the day after Trump was inaugurated. They say our pussies are not for grabbing or not. I don't even think she said are. I think she said puss. And I said that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And you know why? Because that's like saying cocks are not for grabbing. Okay, look at a fucking cock, man. It's shaped like a motherfucking handle. It's meant to be grabbed. Okay, it's the fucking truth. Pussy, and my hand is right there where your pussy is. How can it not meant to be in your? And, you know, I'm just saying that makes no sense whatsoever. Of course, pussies are meant to be grabbed.
Yeah, and you know, this Biden thing kind of exposed a lot of these frauds. It exposed a lot of these frauds. They're supposed to go against the movement, go against the status quo, and when it push comes to shove, they all fall in line. So it's a blessing in disguise, I'd say, to see who's in it for themselves and to see who's in it for real change. So that's a good thing, I'd say.
Well, it seems like a lot of people are posing, and like you're saying, they can get attention or some kind of power by being, you know, like you know, at the front of a movement or playing, you know, the victim card at the right time. Again, I don't want to put down the women, the ladies of the Me Too. I'm not trying to do that, but your leadership is, if they're going to make excuses for Joe Biden, it ain't going to work. And they're all going to have to fucking do a mea culpa because they were wrong to do it in the first place.
Oh, yeah. When you look at the leadership of this stuff, it goes back to, like, this big talent agency, CAA, who represents a lot of big-time Hollywood A-listers, and they were involved in starting the campaign, and they're affiliated with Joe Biden and stuff. It's all dirty. It's dirty politics, dirty business, and so you're absolutely right when it comes to the leadership of them getting everybody worked up. So nothing new. It's just people taking advantage of a movement and betraying the base. What are you gonna do? All right, I'll let the next guy call in though. They take my call.
Okay, Kevin. Good to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling.
Okay, take it easy.
All right, stay cool. I'm not sure where Kevin was from. I don't think I have another caller, so I'm going to go ahead and play my Pandemic Earth Day clip because I love the title, right? Pandemic Earth Day, and I think it's interesting what the COVID-19 is doing to the planet. Not the people of the planet, but the planet herself.
Thank you. And while the planet is in the grips of a global pandemic, the natural world has been impacted as well. On this Earth Day, with so many staying home, we have seen a huge drop in air pollution. Ginger joins us now with some incredible before and after images. This is something. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Robin. Happy Earth Day, everyone. And yes, we know that this has been so difficult, devastating, really, for the economy and so many of us. But the plants and the animals that we share this planet with are now reacting and expressing themselves in ways we haven't seen in a long time.
The animals are taking over streets, and wildlife is roaming with less fear.
That's amazing.
Jellyfish gliding freely through nearly boatless Venice canals. Biologists in Thailand finding the largest number of endangered sea turtles in 2 decades nesting on its empty beaches.
We have been taking habitat from these animals. It might cause a sort of increased awareness of the natural beauty that's right around us.
With bears reclaiming Yosemite National Park.
For the most part, I think they're having a party.
The global lockdowns helping to make skies more clear. In India, while 1 billion people on the subcontinent stay home, the Himalayas are now visible from this spot in northern India for the first time in decades.
It's just been a tremendous clearing, and there's no question that that itself will have saved lives.
Similar impacts being seen in Europe. Satellite imagery showing France, Spain, and Italy all experiencing drop-offs in air pollution. In the U.S., the Northeast seeing about a 30% drop in nitrogen dioxide.
This crisis is awful and scary, but it's incumbent on us to look for ways in which we can come out of it stronger than we were.
But let's be real, we didn't fix everything, right? Air pollution levels are expected to come back to normal as soon as we're back to business, just like they have in China. But this is a great moment, a moment of pause for all of us to realize that our choices do impact the environment around us, and maybe we can make a healthier balance going forward. Robin?
That's so true. Thanks for putting it like that, Ginger. We're going to have much more on.
And I like that clip, especially because I think that what this shows, again, is that if the people can come together and prioritize the healing of the earth, it's actually something that can be done. You know, it's just, I don't think it's ever in the history of modern man been discussed as some kind of an actual priority. But it'd be really, really super cool if we could have that discussion and decide that that's what's important, because because you people have fucking children. But you know, I say that because I don't have children, and I'm not ever going to have children, and you know, it's not that big a deal to me. You know, when I leave here, what happens? I mean, it's a big deal because I love this planet so much. I love Earth. You have no idea. I wouldn't even be here right now, except for this place is irresistible. Sensual Disneyland is the best. So, okay, so I have this other video about how they're testing sewage now for COVID-19 because they can kind of tell where the clusters are. So I thought you'd want to see that.
We've learned some of the 120 people tested at a drive-through site in Aberdeen may have to get retested. The Grays Harbor Department of Health tells KIRO 7 some of the tests used were recalled. They're now offering people to get retested. Testing at the site in Aberdeen has been extended through Monday to anyone showing symptoms. And the coronavirus is showing up in sewage, and researchers say that may help them track and predict areas with outbreaks. KIRO 7 South Sound reporter Kevin McCarty spoke with a team of scientists heading up this research.
Scientists have begun testing the sewage at Tacoma's wastewater treatment plant on the other side of the Puyallup River over there. And they have found the coronavirus in the sewage. They say that's actually good news.
And these tests are very similar to the molecular tests that you read about now that we have shortages of.
This video, shot by our partner, the News Tribune of Tacoma, shows scientists from the RAIN incubator testing sewage, looking for evidence of the coronavirus.
So we have gone and looked at Tacoma. We've also gone in Pierce County. And so both of those were positive. So pretty much every test we've done has come up positive.
RAIN founder Dr. David Hirschberg says detecting the virus in sewage sludge is not a threat to employees at Tacoma's sewage treatment facility. But finding coronavirus in sewage could be a valuable tool. By tracking the virus in wastewater, scientists could be able to determine whether or not it's present in the local population, even before an outbreak.
It's about having tools to be able to do surveillance, right? And the one tool you do not want to use is hospitalization and death as your metric to be able to decide, make public health decisions on an outbreak.
Hirschberg established RAIN, an acronym for Readiness Acceleration and Innovation Network in Tacoma, in 2017 to do projects like this. Now his team is doing the scientific detective work of searching for a deadly virus before it strikes.
I mean, both Stan and I have been in this idea of tripwires or surveillance for years and years. And so you want early warning. You want to be able to not be caught off guard.
According to their website, the RAIN Incubator is also working on a couple of other COVID-19 projects, including test validation kits to determine whether or not coronavirus tests are accurate, and blood tests that could determine whether or not people have had the virus without knowing it. In Tacoma, Kevin McCarty, KARO 7 News.
All right, so I thought that was an interesting story you guys might want to hear about. Let's see. So I have like 3 more videos, and one of them they talk about the contact tracing, which I was talking about earlier. Another one is this local story about reopening America and protesters and such. And then I have an interview with this CEO of Kroger, and he talks about people's concerns about the food supply chain. So if you guys want me to play those videos, I can play those videos, or you can call anytime. The number is 805-669-6397. 805-669-6397. That's 805 Mox News. And we can talk about whatever. I'm obviously very open to talking about whatever. I'm not like, we're not talking about that. I mean, on 420, and it wasn't like we're not talking about that. It's just like I personally am not going to focus on some negative shit when I don't want to focus on some negative shit. Hello, caller.
Michael, this is candidate Steve McClanahan running for president. I have currently built a toilet paper replica of the Oval Office. Ladies and gentlemen, and I am sitting behind my desk currently doing some paperwork. I've got a lot of fucking goddamn paperwork. And Michael, I tell you what, running for president of the United States of America, I'm telling you, it takes a lot of work. Michael.
Bless you.
Thank you. You're so kind.
So, are you busy right now then, or what's up, Mr. President?
Yes, I am extremely busy. We've been making grilled fucking cheese all day.
That does sound pretty good. Some days are just grilled cheese days, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Getting people to practice social distancing. We're fucking making money. Currently, we made $25 fucking dollars. We made $25 today getting people to fucking practice social distancing, but we got the fucking word out. We had our social distancing stick there. We had a lot of people there. You know, we made $25 fucking dollars, but we fucking literally gave away 350 fucking goddamn sandwiches, so I don't think this is fucking working out. For one thing, I tell you what, this is fucking bullshit. But, you know, we're keeping a positive attitude, whether you like it or not. Running for president, and, you know, maybe I should have been spending more time not, you know, trying to replicate the Oval Office toilet paper desk and shit. And maybe I should have been helping my buddy out there fucking grill cheese some fucking sandwiches up and shit. But I'm telling you, running for president, you have to be able to get presidential. You have to, for one thing, I mean, I tell you what, these people are freaking out. You have to stay off of Twitter. Oh my God, that is difficult for me. That is really difficult for me to stay off of Twitter. And then
I never would have guessed that, Steve.
I'm telling you, it is extremely fucking hard to stay off of Twitter. And because people out there, they're like, oh my God, you need to get your fucking dumb ass, stupid presidential fucking face off of fucking Twitter right now because I said so. And then all
well,
of a sudden
that's
I
how
just start
people
tweeting
are,
it.
for sure.
And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I feel like they're just fucking with me.
Sounds like they're fucking with you.
They're fucking with me. I know it. I'm fucking 3 days into the motherfucking goddamn race, and they are just trying to expose me. They're trying to fucking humiliate me.
What are they trying to expose about you?
Like, tell me to stop tweeting.
How are
They're
they trying to
telling me that I
expose
need to
you?
Shut the fuck up and shit.
How
and
are they trying to expose you?
Rough.
Let's
It
just
is rough out
let's
here.
just
I'm just trying to
expose
sell
you,
a couple
Steve.
of goddamn grilled cheese sandwiches.
Let's just expose you right now, and then we don't have to worry about them exposing you in the future. So, what is it that they're trying to expose you about?
Well, I tell you what, they're trying to expose me in ways of fake news.
That's how they are.
Obviously. I mean, duh. I'm a legitimate motherfucking journalist with the most prestigious degree out there. Chris Coomer, fucker, he's over there lifting weights on TV and shit, thinking he's running for president and shit. You got another thing coming, you dumbass Coomer motherfucker. Whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Jesus Christ. He's been coming out of quarantine and shit for fucking, forever. That son of a bitch. He's fucking lifting weights, and now I think after he sat down there in this little quarantine fucking area,
What'd that one guy
all
call
of a sudden
him?
he's running for president.
What'd
They're tired of fucking
that one guy
Michael
call?
Avenatti's dick to be fucking president of the United States. Who else is going to be fucking president of the United States? Chris Coomer? Fucking, what the fuck is that guy's name? I do not know. It's like
What was that one guy? He was at a party, and some guy called him like a name that you call Italians, like Goomba or something like that. I can't remember what it was, so I can't remember what the term was he said. And fucking he came unglued and said that's like the N-word to Italian people, and threatened to fucking rip the guy's head off.
Yeah, I know. He's seen the cameras there. He
Fredo. That's it. It's Fredo. That's what you want to call him when you're talking about him. It's not Coomer or whatever the fuck you keep saying. It's Fredo.
It's
Fredo.
It's fucking Chris
Fredo.
Creepo.
Fredo.
Chris Creepo, just like fucking Joe Biden Creepo, just like fucking Michael Avenatti Creepo, just like all these other fucking creepos. There's a lot of creepos. Anybody want to fucking call out anybody that's been a creepo? Call in. Fucking let them know. These people are fucking creepos.
That's for sure.
And you better not be lying either. You better have some good evidence, because there is plenty of good evidence with the fucking creepos out there. There is a president, a former vice president, that was fucking standing there telling farm children at a fucking goddamn farm and art market or some shit, some fucking goddamn state fair, he's telling these people, okay, I was there. I was there. I was in the pool. I was in the pool with these little black kids and shit. And then they were just like amazed with my goddamn blonde hair on my legs and stuff, and then they started rubbing on my legs This is what this guy is fucking telling America, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't have the browser window's not working, Craig.
Well, you know what? I recommend that you do not fucking listen to it. It's borderline child pornography, in my opinion. This guy should probably be put in a guillotine, in my opinion. Just go ahead and just get it over with, Joe. You lived a great, pathetic, fucked up life just like the rest of us. So stop fucking kissing fucking ass, Joe, and go fuck yourself.
Well, Joe...
How about that?
Joe...
Steve McClanahan is motherfucking taking over the Democratic Party currently right now. You want a resurgence of the Democratic Party? You want somebody to be able to beat Trump?
I want the Democratic
Party
Party
to fucking
die.
Steve McClanahan, who is really tired of this bullshit that's going to make America greater again and again and again and again, like we always have been. Keeping a fucking positive attitude, whether they like it or not, Michael.
I know you do,
I fucking
Steve.
love you motherfuckers in America. We're running for president of the United States.
Did we lose you, Steve? Steve? Can't hear you. I don't want to have to hang up on you, Steve.
A video of CNN anchor Chris Cuomo losing his cool.
Okay, we'll roll this real quick.
Fredo goes viral.
The outburst is now opening up a new discussion.
Fredo Gate. It's old.
CBS 2's political reporter Marsha Kramer has the story.
Hey, you didn't know what you were saying, right?
It all happened because
Can you hear it up there or no?
Chris Cuomo didn't like
yeah.
being called Fredo, the ineffective son and the godfather forced to take
I don't know what happened to Steve.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody.
His battery probably died on his phone.
I'm smart, and I want to.
Should I hang up?
I don't know, man.
Have a field day, but why
He'll call back.
The youngest of 5 Cuomo siblings,
all right, bye, Steve.
Andrew, just happens to be the governor of the state of New York.
This is a pretty funny piece, though. I don't know if you want to play the whole thing.
No, I don't want to play it. I want to.
All right, we'll turn it off. Here we go. Just clear right here on browser. We'll just go back to this and go back to your normal wall for now. I'll turn that off.
So, if you guys didn't see that before, I have a clip of it down there in the Mox News. Just type in Fredo. That guy, man, he said that he came out, he said that, or he told that guy, he got in that guy's face, and he said Fredo is like saying the N-word to an Italian person. What the fuck is wrong with you? That guy lives in the lap of luxury, and he can't keep it together for 2 seconds when he's out at some party. He gets to go wherever he wants. He's had that his whole fucking life, and he can't keep it together for 2 seconds. What, are you eating steroids? Is that what your fucking deal is? Because there's something wrong with you. Oh, he's not eating his marijuanas. You guys have to eat your marijuanas, otherwise you wind up like Fredo, and nobody wants to end up like Fredo.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company. Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is.
Oh, turn off your desktop audio.
Keep it bright side.
Was it all echoey or something?
It was feeding back. It was like causing a serious high pitch hum. Sorry, guys.
Let's see. Do you have a clip about protesters? Do you have a clip about protesters?
In here? Maybe not. Let's see. I thought I put it in here for you. Nope. I'd have to dig it out.
Okay, I'm going to play another clip. I have a clip about protesters.
Mute my audio.
Okay, so I have a clip about protesters and reopening America. And again, you have to please support the protesters because they're going out there in the proud American tradition and demanding that their government hear their voices. That's one of the greatest things there is about America. And anytime that those people are bad-mouthed, I just feel like, the people doing the bad-mouthing don't love America. So keep that in mind when the protesters are in the streets, and please, consider how important it is that they have your support. Let's see, which clip is that? That is clip number 5.
26 U.S. Navy warships now have COVID-19 on board. The Navy says those ships are in port or maintenance yards. The Navy is not releasing the names of the ships or the exact number of cases due to national security concerns. More than 3,500 U.S. service members have tested positive for the virus. 2 have died. For context, there are currently 90 ships at sea with no reported cases, and the Navy has 297 active duty warships. Across the country, some states are considering reopening their businesses before medical experts say it is safe to do so. On CNN this afternoon, Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman says she wants casinos and hotels back open, but says figuring out how to keep people safe is up to those businesses.
Right now, we're in a crisis health-wise, and so for a restaurant to be open or a small boutique to be open, they better figure it out. That's their job. That's not the mayor's job.
This interview has received a lot of backlash online, with some people calling for Mayor Goodman to resign, saying she's willing to put people's lives at risk. The latest Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation projections at UW show Nevada should wait until at least May 18th to safely reopen. The state of Georgia plans to open several non-essential businesses as early as tomorrow. Hair salons, nail shops, even bowling alleys will be allowed to open. The governor there says business owners will need to have some safeguards in place, but for business owners, there are mixed feelings.
I have a 19-month-old son. One of my managers has 3 little girls. Most of my chefs have children, and we all have to know what we're going home to at the end of the night is safe.
I know people against it. And I understand that people also have bills to pay.
The latest projections show Georgia won't be able to safely reopen until at least June 19th. That's 4 days later than previously projected. Across the country, people are asking whether it's safe to open businesses like tattoo parlors and hair salons. As medical reporter Liz Bonus found out, it depends on who you ask.
I like to see the Constitution be restored and let us all go back to work and enjoy our restaurants. And if you're not comfortable with that, then you can make the choice to stay home, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's pretty clear. Protests across the country show us many people are ready to go back to work, even if it means the virus could spread. But for restaurant workers, hair salons, tattooing businesses, to keep your distance right now, you'd still have to keep your doors closed. The infection control specialists say,
So I think we'd like to see the numbers start to decrease a little bit before we open up to routine procedures.
But the business people say we need balance.
What we're recognizing internally, and I think the entire medical community is recognizing, we've got to figure out a way to smartly get back to the business of healthcare, or we're gonna have secondary bad outcomes that were not anticipated.
Those secondary bad outcomes, according to Katie Talento, can be long-term depression and suicides, families that fall apart, and businesses that never come back. She worked in healthcare policy recently for President Donald Trump and says it's part of the great debate of health versus wealth right now.
So I think the problem is that, you know, you've got a bunch of health experts, right? I'm in the health camp. That's all I know is health. I don't know squat about economics. And then you've got the economic advisors. Both of us are incompetent to make the choice about the trade-offs between the two.
Many providers say since the original goal of not overwhelming the healthcare system and making sure we have enough medical supplies is pretty much over,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that May 1st or 2nd, whatever the date is, that we'll be ready to go.
we should be able to give people ways to protect themselves while they go back to work, according to many, which means when it comes to what's safe and what's smart,
leaders have to choose, okay, do I save the life in front of me today, or do I save the livelihood and possible mental health life in front of me, 2 months from now?
I'm medical reporter Liz Bonus reporting.
So, again, the protesters, they're going into the street in a police state where, given the opportunity, the police will fuck their world, your world. This is so important. I want you guys to always understand the police are not on your side, and any interaction with them has to be limited as much as possible. Otherwise, it could turn out horribly. And that's the thing, is that these protesters, they go out and they put themselves on the line. I mean, they were in Minnesota, right? They were outside the governor's mansion in Minnesota, and there's cops there all lined up and ready to go. So even though a lot of the sheriffs are coming out and saying that, the governor's overreaching, there was just a sheriff yesterday here in Washington who said that the governor's overreaching and that we're not going to enforce their, stay home, stay safe order, which I think is going to begin to be eased a lot around the world, really, because there's only so long you can expect people to stay at home. They can only do it for so long. So we'll see as it opens back up where this heads. But hopefully we'll be in the clear, and we'll be able to focus on things that are more important, like the fact that the earth began to heal when we all stopped moving around and reprioritized things for a few months. And that's a really interesting fact, and that maybe while she still has the chance to do that, that we should focus on making that happen, make that a top priority for all of us and all of your children and your children's children. That being said, I have another video here where they talk about contact tracing, and again, this is very important. I don't think I played this video yet, but they talk about contact tracing, and for me, this is what a big part of what all of this is about, is they want to follow you everywhere and make clear that they're keeping track of every single person that you're coming in contact with. That's a really important part of this COVID-19, and if they can just lock down that part, they'll be happy. But they're also trying to do this universal testing thing, and that's even a little scarier, right? Supposedly they're already tracking us and listening to us all the time. So
thank you. Massachusetts is still, as the governor says, very much in the grip of the pandemic. Cases are spiking there now. The state with the third most in the country. Will Reeve joins us with the latest after spending the day in Boston with overwhelmed first responders. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Amy. The first thing you notice in Boston is the sirens. First responders answering call after call as hospitals there expect a surge. But the state is underway with a new approach to stopping the spread.
This morning, COVID-19 taking hold in Massachusetts. GMA right there, following first responders in Boston, where they've responded to over 1,200 coronavirus calls.
37-year-old female with a cough. We have a 39-year-old male with cough.
Before they can go in and respond to this call, in this case an elderly patient, Boston EMS have to suit up in all PPE, taking every possible precaution.
No matter the nature of the call, EMS treat it as a COVID response.
It's been a long day. We're exhausted. There's no sugarcoating this stuff. We're drained.
Everyone's at a higher stress level right now.
The death toll in Massachusetts now close to 2,000, with over 41,000 confirmed cases statewide, the third highest in the country. Some hospital ICUs almost filled to capacity, while preparing for an expected surge of new patients.
We're still very much in the grips of a pandemic here in Massachusetts.
But a change could be on the horizon, as the state now takes on COVID-19 with a new critical tool. Employing 1,000 contact tracers who will call anyone who spent more than 15 minutes in close contact with someone who has tested positive, asking them to self-isolate for 2 weeks.
The more people we can reach and recommend isolation or quarantine procedures, the less likelihood there is that we'll have an increase of this virus.
So far, the first 250 contact tracers have been making calls to individuals, and if the individual is found to have had close contact with someone who has tested positive, they will be asked to self-isolate. Again, close contact is defined as 6 feet or less with someone for 15 minutes or more. Robin?
Important to note. All right, well, thank you.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
All right, so I have one more clip for you guys. It's about the it's an interview with the CEO of Kroger, who owns groceries. They own grocery stores. They own 2 grocery stores where I primarily shop. And he's talking about fears about the food supply chain. And we'll play that video in just a minute in case anybody wants to call before we go. That's going to be my last clip. So the number's 805-669-6397. And if you want to call. Hello, caller.
Hello, Michael. This is Steve McLennan, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Steve. We lost you there on the last call.
I know. I tell you what, the fucking call screeners these days, they're horrible. The call screeners, I when I become president, I will make sure that I take a look into the real call screeners of the fucking world. Okay, Michael? And I'm telling you, Michael, I am telling you, for all of the fucking humanity, for fucking all humanity, I need your endorsement to run for fucking goddamn president of the United fucking goddamn States. You know what? Trump, he should have took it to this level. Bernie Sanders, he should have took it to this level. Joe Biden, there was no fucking way that he could take it to this level. That son of a bitch, he is out of breath. He's fucking just barely even making it. He's oh, you want to talk about vaccinations and shit? You want to talk about like secret vaccinations for the fucking stupid ass media and retarded fuck? Yeah, I'm telling you, they're probably just like pumping these fucking people up with all kinds of fucking bullshit and scientific research. They're getting bombarded with this shit. All these fucking people out there, Joe and fucking, the media and fucking, Chris Coomer and shit. Everybody's just like fucking now just getting injected with a bunch of shit. We're like lifting weights and stuff. Like, and then you're not going to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that there's not like a bunch of scientific researchers out there like observing these dumb son of a bitches, and that like the normal fucking just like American citizen, they're really just like spying on them. They're just spying on them, fucking just like looking through their phones, jerking off and shit. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is Steve McClanahan. We are coming to you live from an undisclosed location from the campaign trail, because we are not promoting where the campaign trail comes from. It could be the Oregon Trail. It could be just a trail, from like a good park to hang out in. But what we're doing is we're selling fucking grilled cheese sandwiches to the people. And my campaign manager, he keeps telling me, okay, Steve, if you keep promoting the grilled cheese sandwich, people will make more grilled cheese sandwiches. And I'm just like, I don't know how this makes any fucking sense, but you know what? It makes sense. And then when sense makes sense, it makes dollars, and then it makes dollars, and then all of a sudden you become president of the United motherfucking States of America. And ladies and gentlemen,
Craig got his Trump bucks, if anybody's wondering. Craig got his Trump bucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about anything out there in the fucking world, the people that live on the world, Steve McClanahan, we're taking over the Democratic Party. We're going to bring new life to the Democratic Party. We love, and I will run as the Democratic nominee for the United States of America. And I respect the American flag. And I respect our gun rights. And I respect our Second Amendment. And I respect our right to privacy. And I respect our right to a fair and fucking just, speedy motherfucking trial to get this shit over with. We don't need to drag this shit on anymore. Unless you got some fucking real evidence, quit fucking holding me down here in the fucking America. And so, what we're doing is we're fucking having a beer. We're fucking hanging up our fucking American flag on our house. We're fucking loading our guns. And we are fucking taking back the Democratic Party. And we're going to fucking work together, whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen. And then fucking, you know what President Trump's going to do? He's going to be like, you know what, Steve? I'm actually about tired of this fucking job, so I'm just going to go ahead throw in the towel because you're a towel, Steve. And
you're definitely a towel, Steve.
You're a towel.
You're a towel.
Steve?
No, you are fucking towel.
No, you are
Michael,
definitely a fucking towel.
Can you hear me, Steve?
No, fucking, you are a towel. Fucking Donald Trump can tell me I'm a towel. And then I'm going to be like, you know what, throw in your towel. And then all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom. Steve McClanahan is going to be President of the United States of America, doing it. He's doing it live, whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen. We're keeping it presidential. We have the stamina to keep this shit going, whether you like it or not. And I'm telling you, we're legalizing motherfucking THC tranquilizer fucking blow darts. Plus, if you want to fucking go ahead and trade in a bullet for THC tranquilizer dart, when you feel angry, just go ahead and do it. It's actually a plausible fucking deal. Everybody
Breaking
needs to
news,
chill
Steve
out the fuck
McClanahan.
out. This
Steve
is a
McClanahan,
huge
you're
world
not even old
in the
enough to
middle
run for president.
Of the fucking universe on a floating
McClanahan, are you hearing me?
fucking rock.
Damn it, McClanahan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
This is Craig the call screener. You're not even old enough to run for president. So how are you going to get past that one, buddy?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Get
now,
your lane,
currently in the fucking
McClanahan.
middle of a goddamn global pandemic, currently call screener.
Get in your lane, McClanahan. That's all I got to say. Maybe a junior senator from Kansas would be a better position for you.
Well, you
or
know what?
maybe
I think that
maybe
you
the
need to,
precinct captain
currently
for your
work on
local
the
voting
fucking
area
audio
might
right now
let's
because
see
I can
better.
barely hear your fucking voice.
Hey, let me turn
And
me
I
up in your
can't
headphones.
see you
Turn it up in
either.
the headphones, McClanahan. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
I mean, I think it could be a little louder, but I don't know what that's going to be like.
We don't have the technology. We're trying to rebuild him right here. This is a low budget show because none of you fuckers will donate. All right?
Oh my fucking God!
What have you thrown $1 into the ring, Mr. McClanahan? We've given you so much for your vans and all the shit you've wrecked back when you got trapped at the North Pole hunting for the elf on the shelf. When you were stuck in the goddamn Indian Ocean on your raft talking to dolphins. You're lucky you still have a platform, mister. This is the only network where you're able to get any airtime. Face it, McClanahan. You're not holding your
it's not. I got fucking.
Not pulling your weight. That's
I
what I'm
got
trying to
the,
say, McClanahan.
The internet with other people's internet, and
just
then
put on the
chat,
rose-colored glasses
and then-
like I did.
What?
When you
And then-
put on
and
your
then they tell me
rose-colored
to get on the
glasses,
GED
have
program.
another beer.
You know,
we'll have a
there'd be
few
a
more
live
long
teacher
hits.
there to teach
We're
me.
spending our Trump bucks right here. You see that, McClanahan? We're spending our Trump bucks. Are you going to do that when you're president? Huh? Because we're just a bunch of lazy lowlifes over here at Mox News, huh, McClanahan? Is that what you think? When's the debate, buddy?
Motherfucking get my motherfucking Trump bucks.
All right.
I'm buying a Corvette. I'm buying a
when I
fucking
get my
Corvette,
Trump bucks,
and then
I'm flying
I am
out there to
buying
Wichita, and I'm going to take you to the casino
a
and show you how to throw some
grilled
dice so you can learn how to make some real money, buddy. You're going to spend that $11.50 an hour that we pay you to run around the Mox News van, and we're going to play some craps, and I'm going to teach you how to roll them bones, brother. But until then, you need to make sure you're old enough to run for president.
This
because if
$11,000 paycheck per month is not cutting it, Craig.
Oh, I realize that.
You.
You gotta donate some back. You know, our
This is
viewer audience is
bullshit.
only
I'm
so
fucking
big. You know, we
pissed
only have so
the
much in the
fuck
budget.
off. It's a reality check. I'm watching fucking Fox News. Sean.
What's more real than Mox News,
Barack
dude? This is like
Obama and
impromptu.
fucking Joe
You think
Biden
we
are
script
there?
this
It
shit?
says
You
reality
can't
check.
script this shit, McClanahan. This is real. We're doing it live, right? This is real.
This is real. We're doing it live. It's on TV right the fuck now. It's
This
on
is
my
the only
goddamn
call-in
TV.
show on the
I'm
entire
running for
internet. You told
president,
me yourself.
And I'm pissed the fuck off.
There is a
because
few others like
I'm
us,
telling
but
you,
none are more unique than this.
I have to run for president. I have to win the
You're not
presidency.
old enough, man. I think I should run for president, or Michael should be president, and you be his vice president. I think you're allowed to be a vice president under 40.
Win the presidency. It's Steve motherfucking McClanahan. We are taking over the goddamn government, whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fire. This is the fucking shit. Oh, this is what
small
everybody was
town
like,
boy from middle America thinks he can be president. Where have I heard that before?
This is Steve McClanahan. We are fucking in like an undisclosed location currently. I'm back in the fucking Indian Ocean. I'm sorry. I'm back on that
you
fucking
can't be
little
out of the
island.
country.
I had the fucking private jet send me here. Fucking, I took a rope ladder down from a helicopter, and I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna fucking. And then they fucking, you know, I had them
Lead
fucking
by
drop
example.
off a huge load of
Don't
fucking
run from
toilet
your
paper,
fears.
and
Why
I've
are
been
you running?
drinking hand sanitizer and this shit, and then I've been fucking trying to figure out exactly what you need to do to take back, you know, the presidency of the United States. And what
You're not going to do that from the Indian Ocean. Breaking news.
To do this shit, ladies and gentlemen. You
think you're going to do that from the Indian Ocean, do you?
What?
I got news for you.
What? Breaking news?
Yeah, you're not going to do that from the Indian Ocean. You just ran from your fears and what are you doing? Self-isolating out there in the Indian Ocean?
No, dude, we're quarantining. You know, I just have to keep getting away from all these crazy people constantly. And
I don't know, man. That sounds like you're running away from a problem. That's not very presidential.
That's what I'm saying.
Head on, brother.
Because I'm such a fucking prestigious journalist, I need the motherfucking Secret Service to start protecting me. And these people, I mean, they're fucking literally like kissing Joe Exotic's ass out there in the world.
You gotta win the nomination first, brother. You gotta win the nomination. And I don't think that's happening.
Joe Exotic is literally becoming a fucking cult from Netflix promotions. It's pathetic. Are you fucking kidding me?
I got nothing, brother. Joe Exotic is old news.
I am running for president of the United States of America, and I'm saying legalize weed in all 50 states so people in Kansas can fucking have this shit, and then we can stop worrying about fucking viruses and shit, and everybody can chill the fuck out. Or I'm telling you, Steve McClanahan's gonna be nominated.
In the meantime, I got a plan. Support your local Green Thumb Outlaw. That's all I can say.
We're gonna fucking do this shit. We're gonna do this shit like the natives did. Oh my God, we're fucking going guerrilla warfare with our fucking THC tranquilizer darts, blow darts. Just fucking, you got a crazy person over there. Oh shit, he's freaking out. You just pick up the blow dart. You fucking put the fucking THC tranquilizer into the dart.
I like the idea, but you never know. You're going to have a hard time allowing that across the country legally.
Tranquilizer dart, and then the son of a bitch is lying on the floor, laughing his ass off, and he's not dead. I think there is some plausible explanation to that. It's never going to happen. But we're keeping a positive attitude whether you like it or not.
Well, we'll schedule a debate with you down the road here then.
Steve McClanahan, we're also running on the platform of fucking making America great again and again and again. And then, if Michael has anything to say, I'd be glad to hear from him. But,
I think we need to see a fucking tiger clip, personally.
You think we need to see a
fucking tiger clip? I've been wanting to say that. Oh my God. Steve, I don't know what to tell you. I think we got to go.
Well, you know what? I have to go. I've been telling
you. I knew you were going to say that.
Forever.
God damn it.
I have to go to the restroom currently. So I have to get off the line. Presidents that are running for president of the United States, they have to use the restroom too. Okay? And we actually have a toilet, and we're not defecating all over the goddamn sidewalks. And I think that's another thing that I need to run on. Stop defecating on the fucking sidewalks, or we're going to shoot you with an actual real bullet at that time.
Are you going to pardon Joe Exotic if you're
elected? You see a fucking person defecating on your doorbell, shoot him in the face, or in the asshole. I don't know which way it's going to go, through the asshole and into the face, because they are linked over. It's not a good deal. Don't shit on anybody's property, ladies and gentlemen. Steve McClanahan, running from the Democratic Party. This is what the Democratic Party needed a long fucking time ago. And they can't do it because they're a bunch of goddamn social fucking goddamn warriors wearing masks, angry, pissed off about nothing that they even understand in the fucking world. How about, ladies and gentlemen, we just stop being angry tonight? Can't do it. I already know. I know you can't. It's okay. But we're still running for president, whether you like it or not.
You didn't answer my question, Steve.
Go. We have a lot of ideas. I got paperwork out here on the fucking toilet paper Oval Office desk. I've got to do this shit. I've got the stamina. I need endorsements. We're ready to go. And I don't think I got till Friday to make this shit happen.
Good luck with that, Steve.
I don't really know.
Good luck with that.
I don't know if I have the stamina to go all the way down the fucking campaign trail like Joe motherfucking Biden, especially like Bernie Sanders, that son of a bitch. He was fucking just like, on April Fool's, he was just exposing the joke. It's just us, the American people. We're the joke.
Okay, Steve. I don't know, man. I got nothing. We're about to end the show here. I know Mike is getting hungry. He's always hungry by 10:30. So I haven't got any more calls coming in after you. So you're going to be the lucky last caller.
Well, that's unfortunate because I enjoy hearing the callers.
Hey, you got to work tomorrow. Don't you go work on your campaign or something, or go to a hospital and visit some sick people?
I'm working right now, Mr. Crawl Screener. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, my God. When it's all said and done, Steve, I got to hand it to you.
It's less than a fucking toilet paper fell off.
I don't know what I got to hand to you, but I got to hand something to you.
All right, I got to go.
Hey, real quick. I got something funny for you guys. So if you're sitting at a table, you guys got to do this. This is something kind of fun. Now, you may have even seen this online already, but take 5 pennies and you set one of them down on the table and you tell your friend, you smell something? And they say, no. And you go, well, you should. There's a scent. And then you put down 2 pennies and you say, do you see any fruit? And they say, no. And you say, well, you should. That's a pear. And then you throw down 3 pennies and you say, do you see any police? And they say, hell no. And you say, well, there's 3 coppers. And then you put down 4 pennies and you say, do you see any cars? And they say, well, no. And you say, well, you should. There's 4 Lincolns. Okay. Then you throw down 5 pennies and you say, do you see any boobies? And they say, hell no. You pick up the pennies and say, damn right, you're not going to see any boobies for 5 cents, you idiot. Okay, that's my dumb joke of the night, guys. And I am out.
Okay. Where were we? Let's see. Where were we? Here. There we were. Okay. I have another clip. I have a clip of again the CEO of Kroger talking about fear of the food chain. Food chain supply fears. So Kroger is 2 of the local grocery stores where I shop. I imagine that some of you shop at the Kroger too, and that you might want to see this. So this is my last clip. If you want to call, I'll be happy to take a call after this. Otherwise, I'm going to get some food. But I'm going to play this clip for you guys, and I'll be back in just a second.
And right now we're going to turn to new concerns about the food supply after one of the largest meat processing companies in the U.S. closed several plants. Nearly 800 coronavirus cases have been linked to one plant, and now there are new fears about other parts of the supply chain and what that means for grocery stores. We're going to speak exclusively with the CEO of Kroger in a moment, but first, Matt Gutman is outside that shuttered Smithfield plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Food producers have gotten really good at keeping germs out of our food, but they are struggling right now to keep sick employees out of plants like the one behind me. The result is that just as we're seeing skyrocketing demand for groceries, we're seeing additional plant closures. This morning, icons in American packaged food, including the makers of Kraft Mac and Cheese, Wonder Bread, Frito-Lay's, and others, battered by COVID disruptions. Kraft Heinz, Flour Foods, and ConAgra, which produces frozen foods like chicken pot pies, have all reported plant closures as cases grow, and now industry leaders warn that changing production lines to prevent coronavirus may not be so easy.
While we've been able to implement some social distancing practices in the plant, it's not feasible to completely change the way the manufacturing process is configured and still operate and meet this high level of demand for food in the nation.
So far, meat packing plants hit hardest. 10 states now reporting coronavirus outbreaks among employees.
Some of the jobs, they are literally elbow to elbow. Some places they stand a little ways apart, but most of the positions, they are side by side all the way down the line.
But the nation's single biggest COVID hotspot remains the Smithfield pork plant in South Dakota, where over 760 workers have tested positive. As the outbreak grew in their workplace, employees say they were given hairnets as face masks.
They were giving you hairnets to wear around your mouth?
Yeah, hairnets. It's the balaclava type that you put on your head like a mask and covers your face and your nose.
Smithfield tells ABC News, "We are doing everything in our power to help protect our team members from COVID-19 in the workplace, implementing 17 measures, including boosting protective equipment like masks." The pandemic also taking a toll on grocery store workers. At least 3,000 are now showing coronavirus symptoms, and more than 24 have died from COVID-19.
And 85% of them and higher have believed that they're going to catch the virus because of what's happening in those stores, because people aren't doing social distancing.
And that's one reason why in places like South Dakota here, where there are no shelter-at-home orders, you're much likely to see employees at supermarkets better protected than their clientele. Now, food producers promise us we're not going to see general shortages of food, but we might still see spot shortages of high-demand items like fresh meat. Another high-demand item right now, alcohol and wine. Luckily, no shortages there yet. Michael.
Yet. Keyword, Matt. Thank you so much for that. Rodney McMullen is the CEO of Kroger Company, one of the largest supermarket chains in the U.S., operating more than 2,700 stores. McMullen was recently named a White House advisor in the pandemic recovery and joined us now for an exclusive interview. And Ms. McMullen, thank you so much for joining us. And since this pandemic started, people rushed to grocery stores, which has resulted in empty shelves. Meat plants have been shutting down, and there are new concerns over sick workers at other packaging food plants. So I'm curious to hear, how worried are you about a food supply shortage?
Well, whenever I'm talking to somebody, I always tell them, buy what you need, but don't hoard. And the supply chain is working. I was in a store last night. We had toilet paper, plenty of meat variety products, beef, pork, chicken, all those things. So it's really important for each of us to buy what we need, but don't hoard.
And speaking of supply chain, there may be plenty of food out there, but sometimes it often doesn't get to the supply chain. Well, most of all, get to the consumer. We've seen where dairy farms have had to dump millions of gallons of milk that otherwise would go to schools, that would go to restaurants or other places. So how do we fix that problem?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the things we've been able to do is work with restaurant suppliers to redirect some meat items, produce items, those things. Our manufacturing plants, our dairies are actually packaging some milk products for the Feeding America. So it's really all of us chipping in together. And, when the kids are home, make sure they're drinking milk too, and the adults as well.
And it hasn't just been food. There's been a shortage of toilet paper and hand sanitizer and things of that type, which is said we're going to have these shortages in the first phase of this, but we're still seeing shortages. So when can we expect to have these essential items back on the shelves?
Yeah, on toilet paper, I think within a week or so, you'll be able to find it anywhere. And I know the last 4 Kroger stores I've been in over the last couple of days, we had toilet paper, and that was in the morning and the evening as well. On hand sanitizer, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. For our associates, we're able to get hand sanitizer because we're buying it in 55-gallon drums. But for regular consumer, obviously, that's a little much for them.
Yeah, it's a little much. But you say you've been in contact with grocery executives in other countries that have been hit hard by this. China, Italy, to say the least. What are they telling you about what we can expect next here?
Yeah, it's really a great experience for us. And one of the things that early on that they helped us with is our associate safety and customer safety. So the things that we put in place in our stores for social distancing, plexiglass protection for our cashiers and our pharmacists, places like that. So it was a huge help talking to the folks in China and Italy from a safety standpoint and helping maintain safety for our associates and our customers. In terms of from a product standpoint, what they're telling us now is the recovery is, especially in China, is slow back to restaurants, but people are still coming to grocery stores much stronger than where they were before, and we would expect a similar pattern.
And speaking of safety, last week Kroger asked federal and state governments to declare workers temporary emergency personnel so that they have access to masks and gloves. So what has been a response to that if you've gotten one? And do you feel like the workers have all the PPE that they need to safely do their jobs?
Yes, we've been able to get PPE for our associates, and in our hotspot divisions, we require our associates to wear face masks, things, and gloves. Later this week, we will move that to require all associates to wear face masks as well. And we always ask our customers to do the same, but that's really a local decision.
And it's hard to enforce a customer to make a customer wear a mask of any type. But would you consider shifting entirely to pickup or curbside pickup and restrict any traffic through the stores?
We are testing one store where we've converted it exclusively to pickup and delivery. If you look at it overall across the whole country, our pickup and delivery business is up triple digits. And what we're doing is allowing customers that option. So what we're finding is customers are actually coming to the store fewer times. When they come, they buy bigger baskets. But also a huge percentage of our customers are doing the pickup and delivery business. So it's one of those things where we're trying to be supportive and there for our customers.
We definitely understand that. Ms. McMullen, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, coming up.
All right, so I was like, oh, if I had a dab, I'd go ahead and take a dab with them, but I don't have one ready. And then I was like, oh, look, I have one ready. And I was like, oh, but I got to heat up the bong, and the video's almost over. So I went ahead and heat up the bong. Anyway, so I can share one more dab with you guys. And I wanted to show you that I told you we're going to plant our desk flower in this plant right in this pot right here, this little bag, and I have this little custom potter plant holder. We're going to plant this. We're going to plant our desk flower in here tomorrow. I was going to do it today. That's why I got it ready. But I don't think the seed is quite ready. I think we're going to let the seed sit in the paper towel for just a few more minutes or a few more hours, and then we'll plop it right in there. And our desk flower will begin its next phase. It'll be in its home, in its permanent home, and we're going to grow a lovely little flower of blueberry headband, and every day we'll get the update. So I'm updating you today on where we're at with our desk flower, and tomorrow hopefully we'll put that little seed into the soil that I was ready to do tonight, but the little seed wasn't ready. So we have to wait for the little seed to be ready. Our little bundle of joy. I'm feeling much better now. So tomorrow night we'll put the seed into the soil as Mother Nature intended, as is the way of this planet and humans interacting for 1,000 generations, if not 1,000 more than that. It is who we are meant to be, and don't let anyone ever try and get you to believe that it's some kind of deviant behavior, ever get you to believe that for one fucking second. Humans are meant to put seed to soil and nurture that seed and then reap the benefits of this incredibly beautiful relationship. And we'll be doing that on this show, and a whole lot more. We'll be doing it besides on the show. It's time, since I started this, it's time to start the other stuff too. We have so many different strains. Oh my God. But we'll talk about that more in the future. So, pot is ready. I played all the video clips for you today. All of them. I played them all, including more. I played you a clip about, I played twice a clip about the apparently, you know, at a press conference before it started, you know, earlier we played this clip twice. There was caught on a hot mic that the people in the room of the presidential press conferences have all already received the vaccine for the COVID-19. So they are non-contagious. That's why they can all be in the room with the president. So basically, there's already a vaccine, and they're letting this spread in order to spread the fear. Again, that's an uncorroborated video. It's a hot mic video. It would have been fairly easy to alter it. This is why I keep pointing that out. I don't want to act like that I'm saying these things for sure. But this is the kind of thing that I have said all along. It appears to me is happening, and now we have this video, and it seems important. That's why I wanted to share it with you. So thanks so much for tuning in. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll be back tomorrow, same Mox time, same Mox channel. I hope we see you there, and until then, stay cool, because one of these days this war is going to end.
We're going to start on 10 and count backwards, and you can do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. What time is it? All right. Cool. Man, I can't tell you how long we've been looking forward to looking back on this time. Woo. Okay. What time is it? 4:20. I want to remind you of a couple quick things that I have a responsibility to talk to you about. And do we have fire extinguishers or something? I don't know what's going on.
Every time, that kills me.
I want to tell you that we passed I-75 last year, making simple possession of Lewis police priority in the city limits. And the Seattle Police Department the city of Seattle has respected that. There was an article in the Seattle Times not too long ago showing that marijuana arrests have plummeted since the pass of I-75. I want to thank the Seattle Police Department who put their lives on the line every day for us. When I'm in trouble, I do not call any of you guys. I call the Seattle Police Department.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.